Perfect timing. Told you.
That was the loudest entry I've ever heard. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
You had to jump in.
My bad.
Jake, yeah, please rub that shit in more. All right, please. Here's my Switch. Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
PC Master Race.
Yeah.
My Switch. Jake said he's going to send it to me.
I'm video game platform agnostic.
Yeah. He's what is it? Omnisexual when it comes to video games. Yeah.
Yes.
I know what he's doing.
Systems. Yes. Oh God.
Anyways,
also.
Welcome everyone to the Captain's Table. This is of course the Astro Pub, your space bar at the end of Twitch. The Captain's Table is our weekly Star Citizen podcast where I bring people from all over the community, usually get drunk and do stupid shit. But we also talk about Star Citizen. I
super glued this to my Switch case.
Super glued your super glue package to the Switch case.
Yeah.
Ruined in chat. Ruined.
Oh my god.
Ruined.
I'm sad now.
Yeah. Go to your cry corner. Oh god damn.
Hi guys, welcome to the Captain's Table. This show is sponsored by me.
Yeah, it is actually sponsored by Jake.
Yep, it's sponsored by me. All coverage from PAX East on twitch.tv/theastropub is brought to you by me because
Jake, yes.
Jake
basically is hooking me up with passes for Saturday and Sunday.
I am a wonderful human being.
Because he is a sexy Adonis of the community.
So I told him my price for the passes was the week before PAX. The podcast is sponsored by me.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Relay, me.
By Jake,
yeah. And also he has to buy me alcohol.
I'm going to buy him nice alcohol, too. That's the crazy part.
Oh.
Really nice alcohol, yeah.
Ooh.
Fancy alcohol.
Even better. Yeah. I wouldn't have cared. But that's
okay. Rebottled shit.
It's probably easier for you to get him alcohol because he looks like he's underage.
Hey now.
LeBurn. All right.
True.
So before we go on to more LeBurnage, let's go around to first the quietest man in the room right now, Bristol Boy 88. Who are you? What are you doing, Star Citizen? All that kind of stuff.
What's going on? I'm the Bristol Boy 88 on Twitter. Bristol Boy in Star Citizen, or BB88 as people call me. Stream here on Twitch, Monday to Friday, sometimes weekends, depends. Just do random shit, really. Try to have fun.
I loved your third-person Star Marine stuff. That was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
It's a real hard thing to try to get a grasp of, just because of kind of where you think you would be aiming, but because you can't really see where your arm is going up or down, you don't really have that sense. So you kind of really have to get used to looking and seeing where your shoulders are lining. But once you can kind of get a grasp of that, it's actually really good fun.
It's like what's that mode? The in Conan where you have the super realistic mode where you have no HUD and you have to figure out how to not Conan. It's For Honor where you have that mode where you can do the realistic
mode.
Yeah, it's kind of like that where you kind of have to guess based off.
You have to time all your blocks perfectly in realistic mode in For Honor, else you just get it wrecked.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be like third-person Star Marine, which is like you kind of have to know exactly where your bullets are going in third person, otherwise you're just going to get wrecked all the time. Yeah. All right, and then the man who needs no introduction.
So you talking about me?
Tachi.
What? What happened?
I love that joke. I love that joke.
You tell it every week so well, Paul.
I know, it's so funny. Everyone thinks it's hilarious. Every week.
Paul.
Was he talking about me?
I was talking about you.
Oh my gosh. Well, hi guys. I'm Mitachi, if you didn't already know. And if you don't know me, you'll figure out what I'm all about by the end of the show, I'm sure. So there you go. That's about it.
He's a partner Twitch streamer. Go subscribe to his channel.
There you go.
There.
He misses you. Unfollow, unsub.
That's how I feed my children, please.
That's how he feeds his children to wild animals. Is what he
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I was actually
Which
thinking that.
stream I would sub.
Yeah, we're trying to form our own gold farming team. Get back to work.
Yeah.
So,
My manager today, this afternoon, said there's nothing quite like the smell of burnt babies. I feel like that's appropriate here.
How has this come up twice today?
Twice, yes, it has come up twice. We were talking about the babality or
Babality, fatality combo in Mortal Kombat.
combat. We were talking about that.
Babality. Yeah. Babality.
Thank you, Detox, for that host, man. Welcome everybody from Detox's stream. So then we have a new face, but not a new face to the community. A man who's been around very many times, who is the only sane, American. He's the only American voice in the Addicted podcast. If I'm correctly, he's the only voice of freedom in the Addicted products and freedom.
freedom. Making podcasts great again.
Yes, Kurosachi. Who are you, Kuro? Where can they find you? All kind of stuff.
Yeah, basically Star Citizen streamer. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be on the podcast. But I do a lot of Star Marine stuff. I try to kill you if we're on at the same time. Zerker.
You usually succeed.
No, let's not. No. But I've been doing morning streams now, so I got to see you. I don't see you as much, but I still do the night streams. Yeah, and then we also do the Addicted podcast, and I'll get you on there one time, just sort of pay you back.
At some point, you'll find out that I'm a podcast whore.
Revenge.
Yeah, and I mean, we need to balance out the Brits, because a lot of the time what happens there is, it's 3 Brits and then me, and then it just ends up being an insulting match between me and the British people. And I'm like, you know what? We have freedom of speech here. Sorry.
We have freedom. I can walk out and get my gun and cheeseburger.
Bucket of freedom with
yeah.
Freedom bucks. We have
freedom buckets.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. If you enjoy Star Citizen, follow me. Shameless plug. Twitch TV/Kurosachi.
This is where we shamelessly plug.
This is the plug section of the show.
Yeah.
Sell out.
Then hashtag sellout. I mean, hashtag Amazon.
Welcome to
Amazon
Twitch,
for shill.
everyone. That's
Is this
what
the part
we
where I
do.
put my referral code in?
Yeah, the referral code in. Yeah.
Amazon referral code, G2A referral code, Loot Crate, Audible.com, Patreon.
Well, now partners now have like game referral like money too. We can opt into a system to do that now. So. Yeah.
Game referral money.
So like if you're playing a game and it's available on Amazon, there'll be a link below your stream where you can click it and they can go if they buy the game.
They've been able to partners to become complete sellouts. So we're like, hey, look at this great game I'm playing.
I'm totally enjoying this game. Buy it right now. Use that button below. Buy it right now, please.
Buy.
Superman 64, best game I've ever played.
Best game in the world. Yes, best
exactly.
game.
It's like, what's the name of this game again? Yeah, just buy it right now because they get 5% cut.
Yeah. Jake, who are you?
Yep.
What do you do in this community? Absolutely nothing, right?
I am not a Star Citizen streamer. That's why I'm on this podcast. I am Relay.sc's community manager. If you don't know what Relay is, we transcribe literally everything that comes out of CIG's mouth. What?
Hello?
Hello?
We transcribe everything that comes out of CIG's mouth and put it into words. So if you don't feel like watching a 51-minute video and you prefer to read it instead, we can do that for you.
They also summarize it.
Yeah, we also kind of put together all the news. If you want all of your Star Citizen news all in one place, Relay is your home, so that way you don't have to go everywhere. It's in one spot. That includes like we kind of aggregate all of like the third-party news stuff, like any interviews from other outlets and stuff, and along with our own articles and analysis and things like that. We have fiction. We have a
weekly podcast.
What am I forgetting? We have a podcast. We have the Relay Station podcast every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Twitch.tv/relay_SC. You can find us everywhere, relay_SC.
Branding.
Except for Discord, because they don't like underscores.
Yeah. No, I sorry underscore.
Sorry underscore. Yeah. That was the joke. But yeah, our website's relay.sc because that's
actually a URL.
And I am also a sponsor of twitch.tv/the Astropub.
He is.
Yeah.
Yes. The Captain's Table brought
I'm
to you
also
by
a moderator, which that was a mistake.
No, it was a huge mistake. I knew it was a mistake, but the second I did it, I did it anyways. The one thing I will say is that if you guys haven't seen the Relay Station, if you want Star Citizen news, like if you go through an entire week or you go for a couple of weeks without any information, if you want to know what's going on in the community, just wake up on Saturday, do the Relay Station podcast. Then get some lunch, come back here, do the Captain's Table, get some dinner, come back and do the Not So Sober Saturday with because it's spaced almost perfectly for people to be able to have time on Saturdays and still be able to watch all your information. So
now, if all of that is way too much, we actually have something in addition for you who just could not be bothered with anything.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah,
right.
we have a 10-minute podcast called the Relay Replay, which is two of our dudes just going through all of the news for the week in like 10 minutes.
Jesus.
So
damn.
Up till now, it must have been on like 40 seconds, right? Like 3.0's not out yet.
Much. We've had to drag out a few episodes.
Oh, we gotta get that ad money. Let's see. It's gonna get this to make it 10 minutes.
Yeah, all of our ad money. Yeah. But yeah, you can find those on iTunes, the various podcasty places. We're not on SoundCloud because they charge a lot of money.
They do charge a lot of money.
But it is a stretch goal on Patreon. You can go support us there if you wish. That's it.
And lastly, but certainly not least,
leastly.
Most leastly.
Lastly, but not leastly.
The most QA-ly man of Star Citizen, the man who is most likely to be the person who hugs your ship the hardest and the longest to make it uncomfortable, and for you to be EVAing to back to the station rather than flying. Grakis, who are you, Grakis? What do you do? All that kind of stuff.
I am Grakis. I am a Twitch streamer, primarily space games and, of course, Star Citizen, where I got my start. And you can always find me on twitch.tv/Grakis, as well as on Twitter under Grakis and YouTube. I also DM a game of D&D right before this show every week, where I attempt to make sure our cleric doesn't group too many people, but I always fail.
You cannot stop the love. You cannot stop the beauty exuding from my pores, unless you hit me with a rat monster to the face for ridiculous amounts of damage. That was
also
fun
an accomplished, accredited voice actor.
I am.
He is actually
such hit internet web series such as The Bulkheads.
I was in Bulkheads. I'm also a voice actor in other things now that I can't say because NDA. But I am legit a voice actor.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say the word bulkheads.
Bulkheads.
Bulkheads.sc.
Yeah.
Is it like
Was that an actual domain that happened?
I think it was.
For 3 whole episodes.
It linked to the YouTube. It linked to the YouTube. Anyways, so for those of you guys who do not know what the Captain's Table is, it's essentially a roundtable discussion where we say we're going to talk about Star Citizen, and we just kind of go where the fuck we want to. There is no structure really, other than we do about an hour.
Can we talk about Zelda?
No, we can talk about how Zelda is ruining Jake's sex life, but you know that's.
Can we talk about
sex life?
Horizon?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Sex life.
Hey now.
Just go back to the Switch. Okay.
Everything's okay.
I am
it's
married.
There for you.
You know.
I know, which is why we joked about your sex life.
Yeah. The Switch put a ring on it. Oh my god.
Hey, listen, at least it's better than Gamble, who still hasn't put a ring on it.
I actually saw something.
The groans.
Oh, wow.
No, didn't you hear? Me and Ayla are getting married. It's gonna be a beautiful,
beautiful ceremony.
Alloy.
We'll probably wander. The answer is that we'll probably wander to other games every once in a while. But the idea is that we'll stick with Star Citizen as a main focus. And there's a lot to talk about with Star Citizen this week. So, I wanted to first come out and ask you guys to individually think what you guys thought of what stood out most to you about the Round the Verse. We'll start with.
I didn't watch it.
Move back around.
No, just kidding.
Grakis, what stood out most to you about this last Around the Verse?
They ended it with a facial.
Fair enough. They kind of did.
I'm done. That's it. That's all I got.
Next.
Retired, batting 1,000. Retire, Grockies. You know.
Oh, shut it down, guys!
We're done. Thanks for watching the podcast.
Shut it down. It's not getting better than that, folks.
A caveat:
waiting for that one.
The subtitle for this podcast is "The Captain's Table." We don't know shit, so this is the kind of shit that goes on when we do the Captain's Table. All right, so the man who has to follow that act is Jake. What was your favorite part?
I'm all flustered.
Need some mint julep.
I liked the Ice Moon a whole lot.
From the facial to the cold, yeah, it works.
Yep.
How about you, Kuro?
What?
Literally, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Honestly, that and interested in some of how the orbit system works. The modular clothing system was kind of interesting, but it looks like something that's gonna change over time in terms of GUI. I mean, it looks like it was more designed for ships, because it was the ship system. But it'll be good once they have everything fleshed out. So,
how about you, Matachi?
Well, I got two things. First off, I liked how Tony Z basically told Reddit to suck it because he didn't say one fucking time.
He didn't.
So props to Tony Z for telling everybody else to fuck off, basically, with the whole troll and shit. So eat it, Reddit. Secondly, I'd say the Star System creator, same thing like that, where they're actually having the drop down where they're showing all the solar systems and how they can actually drop the object containers now. That way, it's a whole different aspect. It's going to help with their setting up orbits and the planets and everything. And it's going to be a great tool, not only for 3.0, but every system they make in the future. So it's going to be awesome.
How about you, BB?
Yeah, there's a few standout points. The planetary, or the landing things, they were cool. I like how they were talking about the orbital systems that they're going to be putting in. But obviously I was on Happy Hour with Josh Herman, so it was good to see, again, more character customization stuff and actually delve into that with the modular pieces and being able to change certain things, where the cutoff points are going to be, why they're cut off. It's just nice to go a little bit deeper into things like that. And obviously, as Graki said, to end with the different kind of blend in of all the facial stuff, that was pretty cool. And obviously, we'd seen that at GDC, if anyone had been watching.
Were they showing it at GDC?
Yeah, they were showing that as part of the lumberyard technology.
Yeah.
So,
I would say the strange thing was that I didn't know that they were going to have upgradable weapons in game.
Yep.
Like the equipment and weapons were going to be. I didn't know. Well, I knew that they were going to be you could add upgrades to it, but the old upgrade system was removed a long time ago when they had each ship had a certain number of upgrade slots. Now it seems like there's like a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, level 4, like a tiering system for in terms of how damaging a weapon could be or how effective
And
a
that's
certain engine
going
is.
to be an actual game mechanic
Yeah.
as well.
So
To
and I'm
upgrade things.
yeah, over time, that kind of stuff.
Overclocking.
Overclocking, yeah. That's pretty cool. I'd heard about overclocking. I knew there was an upgrade, but I didn't know about that. That just subtle, like how they said it was going to be like you'll take your starting weapon and eventually make it into a badass weapon. It's like, oh, I like that idea. Rather than the it seems almost like more traditional RPG-ish, which is like, hey, we're going to take your starting weapon, your starting broadsword, and it's got 2 slots. You can just drop these little like upgrades in. Now it's a flaming broadsword, or now it's a flaming silvered broadsword, or something like that.
Or even
one-
with your Mantis, you'd be able to
one
say, okay,
thing-
let me spool up instead of 12,000 shots a minute, we're going to do 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And instead of it overheating at 900 degrees, we're going to go to 950, or you know what I mean, just slightly turn up those notches a little bit. And one day you might be firing and going, oh, my guns are glowing hot, and then they're just going to fucking explode.
Yeah. I like that idea. Yeah, like
Yeah,
some,
it'll happen in my lab a lot.
I like the one part of the game that I actually enjoyed was in Fallout 4 the weapon customization that you can do.
yeah, like the different parts and that kind of stuff, pulling them out and swapping them.
Yep.
And like basically how you upgrade your weapon determines how it looks.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think they'll do
which I
that.
thought was cool.
That's
sure.
that's what it looked like when there was.
Yeah,
that's what it
talking
looks
about
That's what it looks like.
It'll put a part in and swap it out and stuff.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
why they're all separate assets. Like a lot of the pieces are separate assets. You know, the sights in a lot of games are physically attached to the model of the gun, as where they're separated there for that reason.
Yeah,
You can
and-
swap scopes and stuff like
And those scopes can go on multiple different. So long as they have the same railing system, they can go on multiple different weapons.
I don't know
and
about
stuff.
you guys, but I really want a fucking crossbow with like a wire attached to the arrow. So if you see something and it's kind of drifting, you can go, "Ba-dunk," shoot it and just reel it into
Reel it
the
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
that. What about Chewbacca's
I just
laser
want my
crossbow?
gun.
Gun in Horizon, guys.
The Chewbacca
I really
crossbow
like
would be
Horizon.
Give me a PS4 so I can play it then.
Yeah, I don't own a PS4, so I was interested in it, but I was like, meh, I don't own one, so I can't really. Yeah. Thanks, Jake.
PC
Thanks.
Master Race.
Yeah.
So jealous, it looks so good.
Guys. The solution is just buy everything.
Just buy everything. Yeah, because we all have that kind of money.
That's so easy.
Look at it. See. I've got.
He's got everything.
I've got that, and then I've got an Xbox and a PlayStation.
You get that from all
I
that
just
sick money,
switch.
don't you?
I just yeah,
sweet,
but
sweet
the
Sigma, yeah.
solution. See, the trade-off is I don't ever go outside.
Yeah.
What's
So-
outside?
Exactly.
He has
I
no
would
perception of anything beyond the room he's in. He might
Yeah.
be divorced right now and he doesn't even know.
I mean,
His
I guess
switch
we'll
is
find out in an
literally
hour
he's
when my
okay.
wife
Yeah.
gets home,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or if she gets home.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
So
It's actually just
It's
a
my
maid he
only
pays to
hobby.
come and cook and clean.
It's my only hobby that costs money.
yeah. Well, other than relay,
The wife?
the wife is the only hobby that costs money.
No, video games.
Sure.
You should have ordered those things a little bit.
Love it.
Blackmail video
I
recorded.
mean, I also play music. I also play music, but I convinced myself long ago to stop buying guitars because that's an expensive black hole that never will.
You
end,
never
ever.
fit. You never fill that black hole. That's
No,
a void you
I have-
never fill.
I have 5, and I stopped myself there. And I know of 3 offhand that I would love to have right now.
Are you sticking
But-
to Guitar Hero then?
No, I have real guitars. They're right there.
No, instead.
No, I have those there already. I also do have Guitar Hero though.
There it is.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for.
All right. So
What do you expect from me?
I
This
expect.
podcast about Star Citizen, right?
Yeah, at some point. Yeah. So
Play
like
music and stuff.
here's a couple of
Oh,
questions. Overall, I think we all agree that it was a good RTV, right?
Oh, it's
Or ATV.
wonderful.
ATV.
you know, yeah.
Yeah.
And
what I
Best
liked
one this year, hands down.
Yeah.
What? Yes.
What did you like?
I liked what Chris Roberts said, and what I think it's a cool idea that they had was because they had talked about like fleshing out ACV at the beginning of the year, and we're like, oh, you're gonna, I bet you are, and but what Chris said was it's basically like taking the monthly report and showing it what they're doing visually rather than just in text,
which I prefer. I mean,
and
reading sucks.
Jesus. Ain't no one got time for that. Ain't no one got time for
LeVar
that.
Burton shows up and just punches.
but
How does he read with the damn visor?
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, what's cool about it is like, whenever we would get the monthly report, we would always be like, wow, like they've done a whole bunch of stuff and we never see it. And then we just read about it in the monthly report. And now they're taking that, like that criticism that we had to heart and just taking that chunk of the monthly report and showing it to us. Which is awesome.
Yeah, but I was just going to say on a side note, I'm surprised we didn't get a production schedule update on Friday.
We did for 2.6.
We did.
Oh, I meant last Friday. Today, did we?
No, Friday. It's Friday. It's last Friday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
13th of March, right?
Yeah. Sorry, all the days are blending together.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant the week before. So they gave us one for this week then.
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
what's that looking like?
It's 23rd of March was the first. Was the full release?
Yeah, the 23rd, 262 is going to be.
Avocados on the 10th, and then
So next Friday is Avocado, and then it's in 5 days in Open PTU, and then it's going to release. It's really, I mean, in reality, the that list it's not very. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to offend people, but for me, it's not very impressive, but it's necessary.
No.
It's not a huge step, but it's a step that needed. Because,
I'm offended, Paul.
No, I
it's
mean,
not shiny. It's meaty.
Triggered.
it's not even that meaty. It's like the first implementation of the multiplayer mega map is important because it's how we're going to do things like hangers. That's how we go from the hangar to the universe, that kind of stuff. But it's not.
That's the thing. Mega map is awesome, but it's also a feature, but it's an optimization feature.
Yeah.
Yes. So do you think we'll see a decrease in desync
No.
as a result?
Maybe. I think we've already seen that a little bit just from having the hub servers in various parts of the world.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. I think it's only going to get better from here.
I think it's just because we haven't had full rooms, because we had full rooms last night and it was very desync.
Yeah, it was very desync when you have full rooms.
It just depends how many people play.
Yep.
But I think any feature or anything they add in that impacts the netcode, including Mega Map or anything, it depends how that impacts the netcode. That's where we're going to see it tighten up on the desync and stuff. So I think it's not just one solution because everybody's like, oh, wait for the netcode. It's going to be iterative process where there's going to be multiple things. As they add new shit, it'll get fucked up every time, just like it always does. And they'll have to tighten it up, and we'll just keep on reeling it in. And that's
people think that this netcode that's coming out with 3.0 is going to be this holy grail that's going to change everything.
No.
Oh, it's going to be a shutter show. It'll be a shutter show.
It's going to crash the servers. Everything's going to be a disaster. We're not going to be able to play consistently. Everything's going to be absolute chaos, and it's going to take them at least a couple weeks to fix it.
It's one of those things where it's like whenever a new patch comes out, this always happens, and that's fine because new patch comes out and it just goes, but every time it comes back up, it's a little bit better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, so that's what matters. Is like as long as they're still improving every time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be crap.
Oh, we're gonna have crash counters in PTU. We're gonna have a timer. Can we get to the Arc? Can we even get to Arc Core? Can we even get out of the Crusader system?
Yeah.
By the time it comes out, it's gonna be terrible. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be amazing." I'm like, "No, the game is going to be damn near unplayable."
It's just like all the PTUs from last year, right? We've seen it steadily get better. The first 2.0, we couldn't even get in and do anything. Like 2.0, it's like, oh, for like 2 weeks, I couldn't even log into the thing. You just instant crash.
I loved how remember when they put out 2.4 and that was pretty bad, and that was one of the first really wide PTUs that they had. and everyone was all complaining. I'm like, man, you don't even know.
Yeah, wait until when 3.0, when
wave
everyone wants
one.
to play it, and everyone's gonna
like wave 1, 2.0.
You know,
that was just on 2.5.
A 2.5, I actually created a crash counter for my stream. So every time the game crashed, it would just log another one right in.
Yep.
And then by the time we got to 2.6, I was like, holy shit.
Oh, 2.5. That's so cute.
Yeah, I mean, it's and
there was no crashes at all compared to some of the things. Oh my god! Yeah, I feel like I'm having war flashbacks here.
Yeah.
Stare of. Oh, I remember the days of that build. I crashed 387 times in a stream.
Can you make it to your ship, or you crash, you get back in and you crash again, and then you get back in and crash again, or you get to a.
You guys remember when 1.0 came out? I do.
I do. Oh god.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Sorry for this reminiscing, but the point that I think the entire cast is trying to make is those of you out there are like 3.0 is going to solve all our problems. No, you're gonna fucking hate it. It will suck. It'll be like you'll be able to see what it's going to be like, and you'll be like, oh, this is so cool.
Months.
And then they're gonna need to do 3.1 when 3.0.1
3.0.1 is going to be nice.
Yeah, and then 3.2 or 3.1
or 302
will be
302
better.
will be real nice.
See,
the netcode issue is just exactly to me like kind of like the item system 2.0 issue. Is like it's not something a lot of people thought when they talked about item system 2.0 way back when, like
2 years ago,
year and a half ago. Yeah, it was like one patch. It's like, oh, we'll just put in item system 2.0. They're still putting it in. It's like it's something that's iteration on.
It's also evolved.
I've seen, and they've even talked about this, is that they started out as just being a way that you interacted with your ship, and then as they went along, they're like, hey, we can add in decompression features and being able to get sucked out into space and locking and power source distribution and objects inside of objects inside of objects inside of objects. We can take this Adam 2.0 system and basically make planets with the zone, combine it with the zone system, make planets have shit in them, tons of shit in them with different statuses and all that other stuff. So what's happening is that it like we joke about it all the time here, but it is become the game. It is the backbone of the game. Like, whereas the theoretical purpose of the game is like the economy system and how the NPCs interact with each other, but the NPCs can only interact with each other if 2.0, if item 2.0 works. Item 2.0 is the thing you're going to be doing everywhere else. Like the NPCs and the economy is what you're going to get started, and then item 2.0 is how you're going to fight or trade your way to that.
Can we talk about subsumption for a sec?
Please.
So I think the update that we got from Frankfurt this week was really encouraging, because I really wanted them to do subsumption, but in the back of my head, it was like there's something just saying like, man, it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna be working at this for like a year and a half, and it's gonna get nowhere, and then they're gonna scrap it. And all that work will be for nothing. So seeing like the visualizer and all that stuff that they put in for the AI, and basically they're like, yeah, all that hard work that we put into making the system work, it's paying dividends now. Like, our designers are able to make systems, missions, and things really, really quickly. And like all that hard work paid off. And I'm like, awesome. That's like, and
Tony Z would cut a bitch if someone tried to remove the subsumption system, because that is his thing. It's the reason why he signed on with Star Citizen.
I really hoped it was gonna work.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not going to work. I never thought it was not going to work. I just knew it would probably go under 4 different iterations before it actually got released. So
I mean, I want to look at like some of the silver linings regarding all this stuff. I mean, for example, the networks, the new network code, and all the new systems that they want to implement and shit like that. We know that Delta Patcher is they want 3.0 to come out with Delta Patcher. There's just no way, with the amount of network problems that you have, they're going to be able to solve them faster, resolve them faster, and they'll be able to implement new systems, and even if they're buggy. Yeah, that's what I mean. And even new systems, if they're buggy, they'll be able to release them and add those fixes quicker, because essentially they're going to be able to roll out content faster, because they'll have an easier way to test it on a larger scale and fix it sooner. And you know, everybody's saying, oh well, look at how well the game performed in terms of, you know, with the new network code at CitizenCon last year, they were having like 140 something frames a second. There's also no one on the server.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you go to the PU right now, if there's no one on a server,
It's 60
it
frames.
runs just nice.
60 frames. Glorious 60 frames. Everything is so smooth and wonderful. But
Exactly.
that's because they're still using the old network architecture, which sucks. I mean, things have gotten a little bit better, but the problems still exist, and they'll still always exist. I don't like the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that this game will always have netcode problems. It will never be perfect. However, just because it's not going to be perfect means it won't be manageable. Eve still has network problems, and Eve's been out for almost 10 years.
WoW still has network problems.
And it's been out for over 10 years.
Warlords of Draenor was the worst.
It was a networking disaster for WoD.
It's crazy.
But
it's really more about getting player counts up, getting it more stable so it's playable, but always pushing that boundary and constantly iterating on it. I mean, because that's like, I remember back in the beginning of EVE Online where we had like a couple hundred people tops fighting. Now you have thousands. So it's one of those things, just they iterate over years and years and years. But you have to make it to where you can actually have some decent sized squadron battles and it not be the only fucking thing happening in the entire solar system.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the goal they're at right now.
The frame rates they got in CitizenCon is more so a testament that the work on the engine that they've done is solid.
Yeah.
True enough. Yeah.
I think they're pretty much like a lot of the stuff, the back end stuff. It sounds like is in the final stages, and and this may be me, but it seems like CIG is some CIG producers are probably finally putting their foot down on the upper management, being like, no, we're done experimenting. This is what we're doing. We have to do this because we need to release it. We're done experimenting this bullshit.
I think a lot of the people saying, the skepticism in releases. I said this before, but the previous releases have been like super slow. But and I've said this multiple times. I don't think CIG or Chris Roberts, when they started this as a Kickstarter, expected to get $150 million. So
absolutely not.
Yeah, they spent probably at least 2 years building the company, which hindered their abilities to even develop the game. And they're probably not even fully constructed in their company as it is.
And I've said this before to some flack, which is I'm pretty sure everything pre-2015 was scrapped because it was all had to be redone. Pretty much everything that was made before beginning of 2015 was now in a duster bin somewhere. And I think from 2012 to 2015, so almost 3 years there.
Have you noticed that they're redoing all of the ships?
Yeah. So all of those assets are gone. And people, that's the realities of. I mean, I know entire games which have been designed from the ground up, from scratch, and after years of development. So,
and I mean, when you're busy trying to figure out the hierarchy of an entirely new company that you've just created, you don't have time to make a game. You're just not going to have the organizational properties. And so now that everything is more or less starting to get set in place in terms of how the company functions, I think those releases are going to crank out a little bit faster than they were.
Yeah, for sure. I think we'll start seeing that a lot more. But I think the big key is also they move it from the stage of we're fucking around with things to this is what the game is going to look like when we release it. We can start iterating on it after that.
And I feel like Aaron's probably the catalyst in that, right? Aaron Roberts is the one saying, you know what, that's cool. You got this beautiful tech. Let's fucking go this way. Now, guys, let's move a little forward with it. Because, I mean, he's the deliverable guy. You know what I mean? He's the guy. He's probably the only person that could really reel in Chris. Because Chris he's the dreamer. You know, he's got all the cool tech, all the good stuff. I mean, and they balance each other out, not only as family but as coworkers. So I think that's probably helps a lot.
Aaron was the main developer behind what's arguably one of the most well-respected space open world space games that has ever been made, which is Starlancer. It's one of those games that not many people know about because not a lot of people played tons of it. But he made it alone. It was not Chris. Chris, I don't think he was kind of involved as an advisor, but Aaron did that game from the ground up, as far as I understand, and that shows you like how good he can still be good and still do really good. He can still get shit done and still do really good products. But I agree. Yeah.
If you guys haven't, and by you guys I mean people here as well as in the chat, if you haven't read the interview that WCCFtech.com did with Aaron, it is phenomenal. I put it in the chat if you want to check that out. It's like 6 months worth of ATV knowledge just dumped into this interview. And like Aaron being the guy who, like, not only does he have all his fingers in all the pies, but it's gross, but it's a good metaphor. But he's a lot like Chris is the dreamer.
Yep.
And Aaron is the one who actually knows what is, like, that sounds derogatory towards Chris.
Well, no, but Chris is
Roberts.
probably a better term. Chris, I said the same thing, but Chris is a visionary, right?
Yes.
He knows where to be at. He knows
He's
how
the
to create
auteur.
Yeah.
So playing off of Visionary, one of the things that I did a while back is I was like, how realistic is the possibility of this release? Just, I mean, I think the game is going to come out. It's just, you know, the doubter in me. So I was like, I'm going to go into Glassdoor and see the corporate reviews of CIG, and some of the people were like, Chris Roberts is delusional if he thinks that this game is ever gonna happen, but because they just think it's such a big vision and so much that they have to tackle. And
Spoiler, that's probably why they don't work there anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know, talking to the real devs.
Ooh, shots fired. Damn.
Talking to the real devs, it sounds like, you know, it's going to be an accomplishable process. It's just a lot of the people who are bitter never really worked in the gaming industry before and get sort of, you know,
you got to remember that the people who left CIG earlier were when CIG was literally needing anybody who had a pulse and knew how to work with CryEngine. And they were dragging people in left and right. And the problem about when you're building a company, and it's like, and I've seen CIG, hiring people, and they do, and I've heard stories about how they hire people. They're very careful to make sure that the people who they're hiring are fitting in with their corporate culture. They'll do things like they'll bring them around. They'll have them sit in the studio for a day or two, like bring them in for like a kind of a full day interview and talk with them, have them talk with other people, make sure that everyone is working well together and that they can get along personality. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that this is the kind of game that's going to burn you out. You're going to burn the fuck out if you're not prepared to get burned out by this game, because
that's true of the gaming industry in general too. Because if you're a newbie to the gaming industry, you don't realize that, you know, you're going to be grinding a 10-hour a day, regular, like
10
minimum.
Try 15.
Yeah, no,
you know,
but that's what I'm saying. Regular, minimum.
Yeah.
You know, from what I know, CIG is actually is pretty conservative with their hours, despite a lot of the employees putting in more time.
It's one of the reasons why they wanted to have studios all around the world, because development would continue when one studio closes. It just keeps going around the clock. And that allows for a little bit more work-life balance as compared to other studios. But that being said, they've hired like what you were saying, they've hired really fantastic people who kind of really love their job.
They did a good job of hiring from the community as well. There's a lot of people who used to be part of the community who are now devs, who have the same skill set. So,
and
there's like a solid percentage.
And they'll like when they hire people that are, out of a lot of other companies. That's where, like EA, for example, if they're hiring someone out of EA, EA is definitely more of a sweatshop more than a lot of the other places. There are some companies that are, quite nice. I know that Blizzard, as much as you would think not, because of the massive size of the game, they're actually pretty fair towards their employees' work hours.
Blizzard and Riot are both very good, well known in terms of. We're getting kind of off topic with other things, but that's a good point. Is that they try to do a good job with that, and the better thing to look for that is, instead of looking at like Glassdoor, my suggestion for most people who want to know what it's like to work at CIG is talk to the employees who left voluntarily, because there's plenty of employees who left voluntarily to work at better jobs, work at Blizzard, or work at Riot, or work at the movie industry. And so talking with them, or I think there was one dev who used to work at Star Citizen CIG and it works for Frontier now, or vice versa. He worked at Frontier, now he works at CIG, because he often talks to. He often talks on the Frontier forums about with Star Citizen, talking about how his experience with CIG, and the way they talk about it is, people who left voluntarily are usually fairly nice about it. They're like, it's great team, great game. They believe in what they're doing. But...
I still follow Darian Vorlik, who is the senior producer, and he has nothing but good things to say about the project.
Yeah.
He was his job was done at CIG, and he was just moving. He was just moving on to something else. He has a new job now, but between projects, he was. I remember this distinctly. He was driving like Uber and Lyft and stuff.
Yeah,
like between the projects, just have money coming in, and
painting miniatures.
Yes, and painting.
I watch
his paintings.
I love watching that stuff. But he was given like it was like either free rides or discounted rides to people at CitizenCon last year. Just cause he's an awesome dude, and he likes the project a whole lot. So.
No, so it's important to understand that. I was at GDC this week. I wasn't at the floor a lot. I was actually at most of the parties, and I talked with a couple of people who had friends at CIG, and their response was, it's hard to work there for many people because it doesn't have a great work-life balance, because it's not necessarily required for you to do overtime, but the culture is overtime. The culture is you put in the time and to get it done. So. That has a lot to do with the culture in terms of you're there because you're passionate about the project and you want to make sure the project succeeds. So, yeah. Anyways, so that being said, let's move on to the other topic at hand that I think was pretty cool. Was the going forward? Wasn't they say that they were going to do 3 major releases this year? They said.
Yep.
So So what 3 releases? We know that you want to do about one major release every 3 months, right? So they did 2.6.1 and 2.6.2, which are minor patches, and it's been about 3 months, and I'm guessing the next patch will come out sometime between March and June or July. And
here are the 3 releases this year: 3.0, 3.1, Squadron 42.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay.
Really?
I'm thinking it's 2.7, 3.0, maybe 2.8 and 3.0, 2.7, 2.8, 3.0, and the possibility of Squadron 42 as a separate release. I don't think Squadron 42 is going to make this year. I think it's going to make next year. I think it'll do like what Mass Effect did this year, which is they'll push it to March, just because I want to.
We haven't heard enough about Squadron 42 for it to be even on the map.
Yeah, I think we'll hear more about it at the end of the year. I think it's probably in the fact that they've already doing.
I disagree with that.
If we start hearing about it in June, 6-month ramp-up time would be about normal for a single-player game like that. So if we start hearing,
here's the thing
like
about Squadron
in June, it could be.
Here's the thing about Squadron. How many times have we heard about Squadron 42 in the past?
You mean like in an ATV?
Just at all?
Maybe handful.
Right.
Like, yeah.
We haven't heard anything because they don't talk about it.
Yeah. But the thing is that the reason why they don't talk about it is because they want to keep a lot of the details under wraps.
Yes.
However,
in this last ATV,
they did. That's the thing.
Yes,
they mentioned it in a serious capacity of saying that they are using subsumption right now. They're building it for the main characters, the main NPCs in Squadron 42. If they're at that stage, that's kind of towards the end of. That means they've got the patterns down. They've got all the art assets in. It's now just.
I think they're a little hyper paranoid about spoilers, if you ask me.
There was also the picture on Sandy's Facebook.
Yeah, which was
so
her character.
Last bits on background PCAP on S42.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they finished up the PCAP stuff, which means all the reshoots, all that is done, which means you just got to pull it over into the engine and be able to translate it to animation.
It means the actual means they're done writing it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think of course part of the reason that we're not hearing about Squadron 42 is exactly of course, like you said, they don't want to spoil it. The open MMO universe is always subject to change, whatever they want to do. The second that they say something about Squadron 42, it's sort of more like concrete. This is set in stone.
Exactly.
Because it's the single player campaign. You don't want to change what you're promising.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I see Dolvac in chat. He's talking about the script got leaked years ago, and he's right. But I'm talking about the only thing they're holding on to is the visuals, the specific little scene changes, stuff like that. And I think
stories change.
Scripts out there, they're worried about.
Yeah,
it,
scripts change. People don't know that. Like, there are many movies and video games out there whose entire scripts were rewritten from the beginning. I mean,
which could be a huge part of the delay too. Maybe they rewrote a ton of shit and they didn't. This got leaked.
They did say that they rewrote a bunch of shit, mostly because because of the planet side stuff. Remember, they said they got the planetary technologies work, and then they completely changed what they were going to be doing.
There's whole sections of the game that are different now because they can have it not entirely in space.
Yeah. So,
because Xylo said a while back he played through the whole game, like a little over a year ago when he was on the Space Pro show. He said, "Oh, when he was in QA, he played through it." But since that time, we have no idea. I mean, that's been well over a year now.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what
that's
also what Chris said at CitizenCon is that the entire game is at gray box or better, which means it's going to look like crap and probably doesn't work very well, but you can play through the entire game from beginning to end.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
Like the geometry's all there, like everything.
Yeah.
Just final art's not done, some of the programming's not done, and that's
And when you talk about final art, when you talk about the fidelity of Star Citizen, that's huge. It's not just like, final art's done. Well, that's like
the final art could be done, the game could be done, but it's still not gold, because when the game gets done, then you have to go through the very extensive bug hunting process. Now, they have been bug fixing while they've been doing that. They've introduced like that they have people who are doing Squadron 42 specifically versus Star Citizen as their QA guys. So they're definitely bug hunting as they go. But there's still going to be a very long process of polishing it, make sure it's optimized for every different system, so that someone who has a 780 is going to run it just as well as a 1080 versus someone who has an AMD cards versus Intel CPUs versus low end versus high end CPUs as well. They all have to all the combinations in between. They have to test them on all these different rigs so that they can make sure that they run, and then on top of getting the bug fixes and all that other kind of stuff, that polish. But I do want to say something. Slides said that they don't think that we'll get 2.6.2 until June. 2.6.2 has already been announced for March.
Yeah.
They announced it yesterday in their update.
Schedule.
It's on the schedule.
It's supposed to go to Avocados in 6 days.
Yeah, and the scheduler till now has been within a week or two correct. It's not. I don't think it's ever been more than a week late.
Because they don't update it until they know something's imminent.
Yeah.
Well, especially with these small patches, it's easier to say, it's going to be more or less on time because, they're not changing too much, so they don't have to deal with shit.
Yeah, we were talking about before the show about our kind of estimates, and I think most of us had an estimate of the earliest it would be April, which was, I think, a joke, but was that you, Grockies, was joking around with that?
Bristol also, we were both saying it and had the same thought.
Yeah. But the reality is earliest pipe smoking, pie in the sky idea is June. And
I think realistically around CitizenCon. I'm looking October. Yeah, I think.
I would say CitizenCon. I would say either Gamescom or CitizenCon, because
I'd say Gamescom for 3.0 and CitizenCon, possibly Squadron 42.
Yeah.
I am in agreement.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I'd reverse that myself. I think
Squadron 42 comes out first.
2 Gamescom, and then 3.0 the Arc. Some reason in my mind, I don't know why, I just feel like Squadron 42 is going to be more marketable, at least announced.
Before 3.0 it has to be.
I also think that that if they release Squadron 42 in August, that beats the holiday rush.
Yeah.
And it would have kind of a huge impact. Same way what came out last year super early.
And that might be their intention, but maybe they don't know which one will come first because they don't know which
War
will
came out super early before the holiday rush. It came out like September.
No, 2 years ago it was Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, that would work too. Yeah.
And that Yeah, that's
It came out in August. Metal Gear Solid 5 came out in
Yeah.
like August of that year.
Yeah.
Which would be
And
GameStop.
it won a bunch of Game of the Year awards.
Yeah.
Because it had
Really?
the huge initial impact.
Because they also released DLC for the holiday season, so it was like the game was released. So if you wanted to buy it, you could go buy the game and the DLC in a package right there on the shelves for the holiday season. So it was like an almost an expanded.
It was smart.
So are you saying Squadron 42 DLC?
I mean,
Yes.
They already said they're gonna have.
It's called Star Citizen.
Well, they've said that they may have something like a secret missions pack, kind of like what they had, like the scrap missions from the original game.
I'd be okay with that.
You know, that'd be kind of cool.
That's a good use
They're
of
gonna milk
scrap
it, man.
missions.
Once they get something out on the table, they're gonna milk it, and they should. They're gonna milk it to death. They need
and Slider is saying like, oh, once they meet their deadlines, a 2-month delay for a very small fix-it patch after they've announced it would be big. They've never done that before. Every time they've used when they used it for 2.6, they used it for 2.6.1. The estimation, the latest it came from that list was 2.6, and it slipped about a week. It slipped a week. So if we use that as in terms of the latest it would slip be a week, that means it would come out in the beginning of April, end of March or beginning of April.
It would be the 30th.
Yeah.
If it slipped a week.
So there's very well doubt that it's going to slip. 2.6.2 would slip from March 23rd to June.
What day is the 23rd?
April
Friday.
1st confirmed.
It's a Friday. It's the 23rd. It's a
It's a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
What day
So
is April 1st?
it's probably going to come out on the 24th, like the last patch did.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday. No, I don't.
No, I'm pretty sure that like they've had that old leak of 2.7. Someone slipping up and saying 2.7, and they've kind of gone silent on 2.7. I'm fairly sure that 3.0 is later, and they can't just have 3.0. Like if it's going to be releasing, even if it releases in August or in July, having it released in July or August, that means we're going to go from March to July with no releases.
And that was actually what I was just about to ask is, what do you see as what they're going to provide between that time span? Because they can't. Well, I mean, it's not like they can't, but I wouldn't expect them to have absolutely no releases in that time period.
They can't. They have to do something. And so my guess is they probably are breaking up 3.0 into different sections.
I'd vote for hand jobs at this point. Anything, because the amount of money I've spent, they need to. I guess
So like, what
Jesus.
if they do something like what if they do something like okay, we'll give you this planet because this planet's done. We'll give you this planet next. That planet's done, and then they just sort of do that.
I think what they should do, and I think honestly, the art is done for the planets right now, and the procedural part. It's the game mechanics that's what's holding everything up. I think if they don't release 3.0 with the entire Stanton system, regardless of how filled in it is, like they should have the landing zone done, and they should have the procedural planets done. But if they don't have all the mission givers and quest givers and all those people in there, I think that would be okay. But if they don't release 3.0 with the entire Stanton system, I think that would be a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think right now that all of the planets are basically done?
Yes.
No.
I think that the planets.
I think on a very basic set, if you're saying planet in terms of just a fucking object, yeah.
But
in
I'm saying
terms of
like the landscape design,
finish,
building.
No.
We saw the landing zones.
They won't even be done with 3.0
in October.
They won't even be done in 3.0. Like 3.0, we'll get the landing zones, and then it'll be mostly placeholder for some of the shops.
I think
and
they
stuff
may
like
have done maybe
Well, yeah, I mean, you're
maybe
not going to get your
15-20% on each planet. I think they've
Yeah.
probably done
Okay.
at the moment at this stage.
So Delamar is done. We know that.
Yeah,
We've seen it.
yeah, it's done. But it's been done for 2 years.
Gamescom, it was there. We've seen it.
No, Delmar has been done completely for 2
in-
years. So
In October, in the monthly report, we saw the all of the gray boxes for every planet in the Stanton system. They were all in there.
Mhm.
It's been 6 months. I think they're done.
They just talked about the moons around Crusader and said they still have to flush those out, finish up the final detail work, and add all of this stuff to do on them. So if they aren't even done with the 3 moons around Crusader,
I was going to say, I don't think we perceive how many orbital bodies there are in the...
Yeah, it seems like the moons would be
They've
last.
they've also been working on those landing zones for a very long time. Longer than the moons, and longer than procedural planets.
Yeah. The landing zones were already part of the plan way before procedural
Way
planets was
before.
a thing. Like,
But a
like
landing zone and populating a full planet's a
Little different.
because they didn't have all the systems online yet.
yeah, and I don't think, and I think,
But
I think
the
that-
planet's landing zones are like you don't need the whole planet.
no, not a 3.0. 3.0 doesn't need to have full, like, you don't need to go to like Yella
'Cause those
and be
planets
able
aren't
to
gonna be
have
procedural.
and be able to have 4,000 different job offers from all the different ice miners and the people, the homesteaders who are living on the planet. I think that's unrealistic. I think what the realities of 3.0 is that 3.0 is going to be a cut down version of what we saw in the Gamescom demo, because the game, or not Gamescom demo, in the CitizenCon demo. Because in CitizenCon it was a very small area, and they specifically made it so that they could look good. But that was kind of like a proof of, hey, this is what we're going to look like eventually. So I think 3.0 is going to be much more muted, but it'll still have all that stuff in.
I still think that we're going to have the landing zones for all of the planets, and the planets will be there. I don't think we're going to be able to fly on all of the actual planets. But the moons that are like 90% rock and ice and nothing.
Well, no, actually, all the planets are mostly nothing, because like Microtech's a giant desert wasteland. No, it's a frozen wasteland. Hurston is a desert wasteland. It's a toxic.
But what
wasteland.
I'm saying is that they don't need the procedural generation on those planets yet.
No, I mean they already have.
And
them.
Crusader's not even going to be procedurally generated.
No, and Crusader, you can't even fly in Crusader. You have to fly in.
It's a gas giant.
Yeah.
So
it's honestly more important to me that they have the cargo, the gameplay mechanics, and all those bug worked out, because that's stuff that makes it replayable. I mean, the planets and everything are going to be amazing and awesome. But let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks into it, how many times are you going to go down the planet that's barren, has nothing on it, and be like, well, there's nothing to do here?
Yeah. I think, hey, Elite, welcome to Elite Dangerous.
I was going to say, ask Elite players.
Yeah.
There's the 2 things that I think they need for 3.0 the most is the entire Stanton system, 1, and cargo and basic economy.
Yep.
If they have those 2 things, they don't even need all those fancy missions. They don't need all of that stuff.
No, we'll provide.
If we can find stuff and sell it and buy stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
I mean,
enough for a 3.0.
The way I look at it is, the planet they were showing at the CitizenCon demo. I mean, as long as that was close to fully modeled, I'd be completely happy with it, even in its current state. I mean, I can think of a billion things that I would do just from an explorer standpoint.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I look at it from my perspective, just having cargo in not only makes it fun for the people that are doing transport, but makes it fun for the pirates that want to steal it.
Yeah.
Makes it fun for the guys like me that want to protect it.
Yeah.
And then, you have a whole meta gameplay there that doesn't even involve them having to have a mission functionality.
Well, and
other than the cargo itself.
And that's the big thing, is that, like, for instance, in they could easily do a lot of those things without being 3.0. Like, I could see them doing the cargo system in a patch between 2.6 and 3.0. I could see them doing, a kind of
if bounty hunting.
Yeah, bounty hunting and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I think if a 2.7 comes out, I think it should be cargo.
Yeah, it should be cargo. That should be
nothing else.
Just cargo. Well, I mean, they'll add things like they'll add the cutlass, they'll add the
ships and
guns. They'll add guns.
Always add ships.
But
they'll add
I'm
guns
saying,
to like
nothing else major. If they
submarine
just add cargo, so we can test that in a focused area.
Yep.
Do that.
Well, also being able to buy and sell parts.
Yes.
Being able to, so you can buy like guns and
maybe ships.
Maybe ships. I'm hoping.
But technically, they could facilitate all that if it was ready in the environment we have right now without extending the map at all.
Yeah, it could be.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is if they make a patch between now and 3.0, between 2.6,
Say,
whatever,
we decided to give you
3.0.
cargo early. I think
Yeah.
would freak out.
Here's cargo. You can land
that'd
on
be
yellow.
awesome.
You can land on selling. You can find a couple missions. There aren't going to be loads, but we've put 2 or 3 on each one. You can buy and sell
just
each
to test
cargo
out
from each
consumption
one
a
and
little
2.
bit.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
you can steal it from each
Just
other.
as a very
you can
early
protect
test bed.
it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'd be
those
okay with
planets
that.
are already in. You don't have to put them any more detail, or maybe
But-
just put a couple of duff landing zones on.
That
and
would
shit, you
tide
know,
us
but
over
patch
for
it.
the few months that we would
Yep.
need.
And on
Exactly.
top of that, it would
Hell yeah.
help us test them out because one of the things from
Yes.
2.6.1 that I noticed is that there was such a low interest in 2.6.1 PTU that there was, the numbers were so low that they weren't able to stress test it. And then when more people came in afterwards, it broke the systems. A lot of the systems were broken. They should have been tested.
As Jake said, you can do that now. 2.7, 2.8. Let us land on yellow in 2.7. Let us land in. I mean, the other one in fucking.
And that's sort of what I was saying
3.0, you open up Stanton. You know what I mean? You can get a Microtech Crusader. Like, that's the path line
Landing
you take
zones,
because
all that good stuff.
We can then
Those
test the
mechanics.
landing and atmosphere, shit on moons and how you approach them now, and then they can go. Actually, we need to change that before we go to 3.0, and it's all set in stone, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's not going to be set, they're going to change it anyway. But you know what I'm saying?
Does anyone know about any word, and this is sort of changing gears, regarding like mobs and animals and creatures and stuff like that? Have they?
We know they exist, but we don't know if they will be in 3.0 at all.
That's
No, what creatures on the planets?
well, yeah, just like things that'll run around and attack.
Hell
you.
no! Hell no!
Of any kind.
Hell
Of any
no.
kind.
Nah.
No, I mean we may have NPCs for certain mission types. We might like what we have right now. We have NPC pirates that'll spawn in certain areas
Yeah.
for missions. And
Well,
I
no,
think
but
that-
there is
We'll get those-
Oh, wait, what was the
Tusken Raider
question?
dudes.
Spider
Wait.
dong.
But
What
there
was
is-
the question?
where we
but
have
there is the sandworm.
like
I was gonna say you have to be careful. We're gonna have the sandworm.
but the sandworm's not on the planet. They could just add it in because they
That was, just
yeah.
that was just a drawing to start with. They're gonna make it.
Are they just? Is the sandworm just a thresher maw? Is that what it is? They're just everywhere on every planet because why not?
Because why not?
That would be cool.
Well,
All
I mean,
I know is I want to harvest them and see what drugs I can make.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Ride
I
one.
guess another reason that I sort of said it is it makes you wonder because they did the happy hour where they're designing, an animal, and so does that tell you anything?
That tells us that they're at the point where they're designing animals, which means that they're thinking about the future beyond 3.0. But an artist,
I cannot wait to fly down in, say, for instance, a fucking constellation because you've got a nice windscreen, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? You come down to this planet and you're like, we're sensing life. You fly down, it's all this smoggy atmosphere. You come through the clouds. Next thing you know, douche, douche, douche. All these fucking
Mosquitoes.
8-foot flying spiders are hitting your windscreen. It'd be amazing.
I was going to say the reason why
What was that?
the reason why they did
I had a
that.
deer. Nope.
The reason why they're doing that is because they want to add cool shit to planets and they want to add flora and fauna, but they know that it's not going to come into 3.0 necessarily.
Well,
and
flora will be.
Yeah, well, there's no flora. Here's the thing: they've picked the Stanton system for the reason. All of the planets in the Stanton system are fucking dead. Like
They're
And barren.
desolate wastelands.
yeah, so the only one that's not is Arcor, and it's a urban wasteland. There is no life on that planet except for cities, and you won't ever
Well,
be
what
able to
about
fly into Arcor because you're going to have to. Here's a path. Stay on this path. Go to the landing zone. You won't be able
Well,
to.
what was the citizen planet? That was Lear, right?
That was Lear, which is in a different system, and they haven't. It's a demo system.
Think about this as well, though, Paul.
Lear system.
Yeah,
Don't forget, we may not get,
It's Layer 3.
The planets are dead, right? The planets themselves are fucked. However, when you come to these habitation module things, there may be a planet inside. You've got little fucking leaves and stuff in your hangar. There may be different cactus types on different planets.
I'm
that
sure.
can grow- you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but they're going
I
to be
know
more
what you're saying in
drawn
terms
and
of outline on the
interactive.
terrain.
Yeah.
There isn't going to be much to start with.
No.
Yeah.
You're not going to see big leaves of grass and big fucking palm trees and
No,
stuff.
Stanton
But yeah.
Stanton is a very well established, very well polluted system because it's been owned by major companies for decades, for generations, and as a result, it's been strip mined and built on and fucked over for like hundreds of years, and it's
like
done.
SimCity.
Well,
Yeah,
and
Put all
that's
your
why.
industrial off in the
That's why I
corner.
keep saying 3.0. There's a lot of my friends that are, they're not in the game yet. They've backed, they've done all that stuff, and they've read up and they've seen some of the more recent videos of the last 8 months, and they're like, oh, this 3.0, it's going to be cool because they want to be explorers, and they're like really excited. They're like, well, have something to explore. I'm like, there's not going to be anything there. There's not going to be any plants. There's not going to be animals. I mean, you're going to be able to see the texture of the plants to start with, and that's it. So I agree with Jake and the rest of the guys here. They're saying, I'd rather see some of the game content than worry about expanding the map. My worry is it's already pretty void in what we have. And we're going to make the system bigger, but we're not going to, if we don't add more content right away to do something in that big void, it's not really going to matter, to be honest. You're going to have everybody go, wow, look at this shit for 2 weeks.
Elite
And everybody's
Dangerous.
going to be like, well, let me know when something else happens. I'll go over and play For Honor or something else for the next 6 weeks.
Elite Dangerous. That was what happened with Elite Dangerous. But the thing is that with 3.0, the big draw has always been the whole system, but also the economy. The fact that the economy's in there.
Yeah.
Because even if you aren't able to explore planets, so what? You can go to the landing point. Mm-hmm. You may be able to mess around on a planet, but it's not really that fun. And there may be a couple points on the planet you can go find, like little Easter eggs or little things you can find on the planets, like there is now. There's a couple stations you can go to. You can find little Easter eggs inside them.
So my curiosity is kind of like, okay, so if we saw, a decently mapped Lear in the CitizenCon video, what does that tell us about the progress of 3.0 in the stand system?
They used Lear as a test bed just because it had
Life.
life and
Diverse
a
biomes.
diverse the word
Biome?
System.
climate
Yeah, climate.
and ecosystem.
Yeah, it has savannas, it has deserts, it has forests, it has jungles.
Just
all
so they
over
could
the
prove
place.
the tech and they could make sure everything
Yeah.
would function that way. I mean, it's a test bed.
Yeah.
It's not like they've moved beyond Stanton a little bit.
Oh, they have. They
They
have.
have, but it's not ready to deliver to us.
No. But they absolutely have.
Oh yeah. Well, they mentioned they're working on other stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just like, we've seen the decompression system. How many months ago was that? Right?
That was-
When
that
they were
was-
showing the alarms and all that stuff.
That was years ago. That was 2015, I think.
Oh,
when they
that
actually
was cool
released
with
it.
the with the loss
And
of
so-
air in each room and how it transferred.
We saw that.
Yeah.
We saw that when they revealed the Retaliator at PAX East 2015.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing over time I've had to get my head around, with, especially with CIG and Star Citizen, is even though they have the tech, a lot of games will give you the tech. Like all these early access alpha games we played, they look like stick figures walking around, but you have the gameplay, you have the tech there, and then they make it look prettier.
Mhm.
They do it inside out.
Yeah.
Until it looks at least decently pretty, you ain't getting shit.
Yeah.
And then they'll give it to you, and then it's where they might have the tech for in-game. They might have bounty hunting they're testing. They might have like full-flown economy, ship purchasing, all that in the background they're doing, but you won't ever see it until it looks good.
That's the difference between a
Even if they're
AAA.
going to redo it.
That's the difference
We
between
know they have the economy because they talked about having a server set up that they just kept running with an economy simulator.
Yeah, running,
Yeah.
They
running
had all of the
analysis on that.
variables and just ran it.
They
to see
Yeah.
how
they
could
had
do
that
it.
in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
so it's
Mhm.
Shit.
the economy system's been around for a while.
They've had the economy since they were playing the board game, right?
Yeah.
When they mapped it all
That
out
was
and they were
when-
trying, they
yep.
were saying, okay,
By the
what
way,
happens if this guy goes
Fun,
to here?
fun fact: that board game is actually on the market now
Is that the one by David Lederman?
by David Lederman. Yeah, that's
Yep.
because they turned it into a board
I
game
backed
called
it.
Space Traders. So
Star
Star
Traders.
Star
Star
Traders.
Traders.
Yeah.
Star Traders.
Yeah.
So you can actually buy the early concept of what basically
Yeah.
Star Citizen's supposed to be.
It's not done yet.
by buying Star Traders.
I thought it was out
and an
already.
idea of what they're thinking.
No. It's not done yet. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they're making it prettier.
Oh my God. See, that's what kills me about it. It's like they have all this tech, but they'll make it so pretty, but then they're not afraid to give it to you like that, and they're like, oh, but we're going to redo the whole thing. I know we spent all this time making it look beautiful, but we figured out the system doesn't really work because we gave it to you. You guys tested it. There's something broken about it. Now we're going to redo it all. So I'm just like, I'm still of the mind. I think I'd rather have it look a little ugly as test it, prove what's wrong, then make it polished and pretty whenever it actually functions right.
No,
but they don't do it that way. They do it the inside
out. That's
the
difference from a AAA and an indie. Like the difference between like a Hellion, which exists and has all of the basic features in there, but it's buggy and shit.
Lost Colony.
Pulsar Hellion plug.
A very basic looking game.
Or even Conan, which is you get the basic shit in game already, and then they'll add more and they'll make it prettier as they go along. Even Life is Feudal did that. They released a very basic concept that had most of the features in it 2-3 years ago, and now that they're releasing the MMO, you see it's much more pretty. There's much more technology behind it that it looks good and polished. That's the difference between Star Citizen and them, is that Star Citizen is a AAA title and they want to be treated as such, and so they're trying to make it look fucking fantastic from day one all the way through, which is part of the reason they slow down.
I think it's
AAA
also when you have
title.
so many artists, and you need to keep them busy working, making pretty shit for your game. So it's like, well, do we have the artist stop while you figure out the gameplay, or do we just keep making awesome shit? Go.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, it's like 7:30. Should we do questions?
Holy fuck, it is.
That.
Jesus Christ, we got into a conversation a little late on that kind of stuff. All right, let's. All right, so how this works, guys, is if you guys are interested in asking any kind of questions to the cast, please do. Exclamation question mark, exclamation point questions in chat. We'll give you that. Caveat: I am not a CIG dev. The rest of these guys could claim to be CIG devs. We're not actual CIG devs, but we can pretend we're CIG devs. So don't ask any official questions, because we'll give you ridiculous answers, and CIG loves it when you go to the forums and to
Being
Spectrum.
the sponsor of this week's podcast, I will take all of the stupid questions this week.
Jake will.
Yeah.
If you we will answer almost any question that's like literally, like there are some legal issues that I cannot answer some questions because of contracts and stuff like that with Amazon and those kinds of stuff. Like people ask questions about other streamers and stuff like that, and we can't talk about that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we can answer almost any question. We do reserve the right to make fun of your question if it's stupid. So that's just how it'll happen. So starting off all the way down, we are in March. There we go. We have a couple questions. The first one is totally Sean Tracy. Hi, Sean.
Great game you're making.
It said Disco decided to sign off on addressing and adding space whales, so we'll be getting 3.0 soon. TM Kappa.
Is that a question or a statement?
I think it's a statement. You heard it here first.
That's a statement.
From Totally Sean Tracy. That's his first name. His full name is Totally Sean Tracy.
Totally.
The next question comes from Jake Acapella. Herder Space. I love you, Paul. Also BBC. Jake,
it sounds like something I would write, but I totally didn't write that. But good, whoever did write that, you do an excellent impression of me.
I think that's probably, we all know who.
Yeah. He did say BBC, so it could be Scuba Steve. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be Scuba Steve.
The next question comes from Berserker01. It asks, now that planets are around the corner, how do we feel knowing that Nubsley is totally going to destroy us in Dragonfly races?
He's not going to win.
Nubsley can actually fly?
No.
I didn't think he figured out which was forward and which was backwards yet.
Oh, wait, the question could have been, the Jake Acapella question could have been Bristol Boy, because Bristol Boy is also a BBC guy.
Wasn't me.
Really?
Really, wasn't me.
Sure.
Oh, the BBC, though.
I was thinking the other BBC.
Then Nubsley asks, I agree with Berserker 1. I accept await your surrender, Kappa. Thank you, Nubsley. And he also asked
wonderful questions.
These are perfect questions.
I know, these are great questions.
Nubsley does ask a serious question, though. What are your thoughts on the news about planned changes to the turret slaving?
Wait, say that again?
What are your thoughts on news about planned changes to turret slaving?
I don't know what this news is.
Yeah, I haven't heard this news either.
I don't know anything.
I haven't heard anything about turret slaving specifically, but if we can lock them in a little bit more, just to face forward or something. Like, I don't know, with the Retaliator, it would be nice.
Oh, or having the ability to have multiple users use the turret, so you have one person flying versus one person flying, like using the guns, and things like Super Hornet.
The only change I
Putting
heard them
turrets
even
on
talk
thralls
about.
now?
Well, they talked about you had to add, in the future add a module in order to lock your turret. Like you're gonna have to have a component, and only certain ships will be able to use it. Some won't. So it'll be part of the setup of your ship when you configure guns. If you want to lock it in position, you'll have to put a slave.
It's from the Hurricane QA 2. I haven't. Let me look it up real quickly.
I haven't read that yet.
I like how
everybody's obsessed with that aspect of the Hurricane because it.
So
like
is
how
it
I
something
typed
in effect like the rear pilot in a Super Hornet would then take the rear turret, but if you didn't fucking want them to, you know what I mean, the pilot could be like, nah, push a button, I'm taking control of that, I'm shooting.
Yeah.
Or you could push a button to allow you to take control and shoot. Would that be something like that on the Hurricane where the pilot can shoot that rear turret, but it's locked? It isn't going to use a gimbal function because it isn't manned. It's going to be fucking locked, nose forward. Or you can have a man guy in there and have it allowing rotation.
Well, so
what this says is
you'd have a guy support other systems back there. So say that could be your shield guy, even at a fighter level. If it's a 2-seater, he doesn't have to run the gun. So there's multiple options there.
It says this time we intend no additional penalty for hiring NPCs to man turrets, just UE cost of their friendship. Since there aren't options trading manned turrets for unmanned turrets at the moment, this will probably handle the matter for immediate future. The turret sizing rules, as with many things, undergo review and vetting over time, and if they comport with our solo play, multi-crew gameplay balance aims, if it's clear to us that the course of adjustment will get closer to the goal, we reserve the freedom to ruin it, to run with it, ruin it. This is what
ruin it.
This is all. The whole thing is about turrets. We'll be able to lock man turret forward and fire it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because some ships will, some ships won't. They said it just depends, but you'll have to add a blade, just like in the server, a certain blade card in there to be able to lock them in certain ships, like a Hurricane.
It needs a processor.
In the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
that
is
makes
cool.
sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just the fact that you can actually do that will allow the Hurricane to be somewhat viable in my eyes. Otherwise, I wasn't even. If you couldn't use the turret too as a
the
pilot,
Hurricane just looks like a more expensive Mustang Delta.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Here's a really good one. It's from Mary Boffkill. Mary Boffkill, Hurricane Saber Super Hornet. So this is the British version of Fuck Marry Kill.
Boff.
Boff is fuck.
Boff. Okay.
Yeah. So
what were my choices?
Grokkies, your choices are Hurricane, Saber, and Super Hornet.
Kill the Saber, because I fucking hate those things. Marry the Super Hornet, because that thing's going to keep you protected for longer. And
it's stable.
Boff the... it's a stable ship. And, fun for a ride the Hurricane.
Yeah.
I am in agreements, but I could go either way for not the Super Hornet.
So like Super Hornet or Hurricane versus the Mary.
No, like I would absolutely marry the Super Hornet. But the other two, I don't really care. So.
Kuro?
Yeah.
Kill the Saber, marry the Hurricane because she's fragile.
Like some weak, breakable.
And then
he's
what did I have the
fuck. It's like
I guess fuck the Super Hornet.
Use the Hornet. Yeah.
Hey, because you
got two guns at once.
You don't have to worry about it.
It's got those nice wide hips.
Yeah, it takes a beating and still goes, baby. You don't have to slow down.
It can really dish it out too.
Yeah. Matachi
likes big ships and he cannot lie.
Probably. I definitely marry the Super Hornet because it's the meta and it'll last the longest. It'll be around the entire time. It'll be great.
Meta marriage.
Yeah,
meta marriage.
There you go. And then I'd probably Probably kill the hurricane because it'd be easy and it wouldn't take very much effort. And then, I'd fuck the saber because it's a sexy looking beast still, even if you guys don't like it.
How about you, Mr. Boy?
I like it.
I think I'm going to agree with Gracky's, actually. Probably marry the hornet, kill the saber. A bit of fun with the hurricane.
And I'm gonna have to go be boring and be agree with both of you as well. The kill the saber, marry the hornet, and fun in the weekends with the hurricane. These are the kind of quality questions you can expect on every captain's table. Absolutely game changing questions.
This is tame as shit for this show.
This is tame as shit for this show. Jake's wife asks, "Honey, we need to talk. We're selling your Xbox because we're a PC Master Race household. You can thank me later."
Apparently, you told me that we're selling the Xbox, according to the question document for the podcast.
you probably just went that slippery slope, but she's probably gonna agree with them now.
Are you selling my Xbox? Okay. I love you. Okay.
This is for you, Jake, from this guy named Dolvac.
Very grumpy and salty.
She's very grumpy and salty right now.
Yeah.
All the PJ Salts in chat, guys. All the PJ Salts in chat.
Yep.
This guy named Dolvac asked a question for you, Jake.
No.
Why doesn't Jake have a beard?
Because genetics. That's why.
I was gonna come back with he does. It's his wife.
Hey!
Well played.
Next question comes from Mammon. Do you think stars will use procedural tech, like the actual stars themselves in game? Could you land on the star if you went there at night when it's cooler?
Yes.
The sun.
Yes.
Yeah. The sun becomes the moon at nighttime, Mammon Lord.
Just make sure you take off from the best Korea first. I have to say that, otherwise I might get poisoned randomly.
Oh no, I know. Do I think
Skulls just raided you, by the way?
Did he? Fucking shit, Texas.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Thank you.
It was Nax Test.
Nax won that card.
Fuck you, Nax.
Congrats,
Congratulations.
Wow.
Fuck you.
He
Wow, good
deserves
for
it,
him.
man.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's someone we all know.
Yeah.
As well, you know. It's not just. It would have been good if it was around anyone who wins. Fair play. You know what I mean, but we all actually know Nax, so fair play, man.
It's good that we know him because then at the next convention we can just find him and beat him up and take it.
Yeah. So we all love you. That's the reason. That's the reason why we're hating on you. We're because we love you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that raid. Welcome, everybody.
Oh my God! Look at all these people.
Yeah. We suddenly are now at like 300 people watching. Hello.
Yep. Should we take more questions?
And Paul said if you all sub right now, he's going to give away 2 1080 cards. No problem.
If every single one of these people subbed, I could probably afford to do that.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's funny.
But if you have any questions, please do hit those things. So asking questions, do those sorts of things because they're important.
Out?
No, we're
Did
still.
we reach the end?
No, we're still doing it. Pod test.
No, dear God, there's still more.
Overtime.
No, I mean, are we out of questions?
No. Oh no. But I think the honest thing. Do you think the stars will use procedural tech? I think they already do. Like as a body, as a celestial body, like they're a physical body in space. They're not just a light source.
Well, in theory, they shouldn't, because they have to remain constant.
Yeah, but
I mean,
they don't. They can still be constant as a physical body.
I guess I'm
Be
confused.
constant as your physical.
So the idea is
The
that
biggest problem we have is procedural tech and CIG
Let
is
someone
defined
do that.
differently as every other game, right?
yeah, it's
because
when
they
they say
define procedural tech as far as the tools they use to do stuff, but they still have artists handcraft every planet, do all this stuff.
Well,
They're not just putting an algorithm in and pushing a button like other games do.
Yeah. No.
So,
What they're doing is they're putting an algorithm in saying, "Hey, we want to have a pulsar," and so they'll drop in, they'll type out the code for pulsar for their tech, and the tool will automatically generate a pulsar, and then they can edit it with the different light spectrums.
Then they'll have their brilliant
stuff.
artists go over and handcraft that bitch to make it look amazeballs.
Yeah, but it's still procedurally generated. They didn't go through and physically paint the whole damn thing. It was all.
Wow.
That thing is gonna suck though if you get too close and caught in one of the pulses.
The pulses,
in specific. Yeah, as it rotates around and fires off that beam, you get hit by that sucker. Oh, you better have some.
Crazy sauce.
I want to harness one as a weapon, and then drag it to Terra.
Isn't that how Voyager communicated with Earth, is using a pulsar?
Cyclic pulsar.
So. Yeah.
The Midas array transmitted hitting a cyclic pulsar.
Also, someone just
there you go.
Someone just.
Well, hey, I knew what episode it was.
Someone just mentioned. Thank you, Gruckies, for subscribing.
Well, I want to win one of those two 1080s. So we need more people to subscribe so I can win. I'm bringing his thing. It's really only going to be one, but I had to kick things off.
So moving on from that, though, the next question is Break the Box asks, do you think that Chris Roberts' perfectionism is a big cause for that make it pretty first mentality? I feel like an open alpha development is hard for him because he's so used to releasing polished products, which is why we see a lot of content gaps. It has to be good, or he won't let them push it out. Yeah, I think that's generally the reason. Yeah.
I think that, plus Chris is great at maximizing the resources he has, and he has some brilliant artists. Yeah. So, I mean, why not make amazing visual stuff? And I think we talked about it before in one of the previous Captain's Tables. Some of the other games he made, like I believe it was Freelancer and stuff,
is ugly.
More gameplay than art. That's what he was dinged on a lot.
He got.
I said it didn't look as good
as Wing
So
Commander,
now he's all about
yeah.
making sure it looks pretty first.
Perfectionist.
Yeah. Oh, he got panned for it looking garbage, and for the time, it wasn't good. But but in terms of its technology, its size was incredible. It's just
the gameplay was decent too. Yeah. I mean, the mechanics there were good. I mean, but they dinged him on the art.
Pretty as it could have been.
Yeah. It was like PS2 graphics at a time when it was about the same time as PS2, but it was like
and
PS1
now everything
graphics
looks
and
pretty,
PS2.
and we're all sitting there digging him on the fact that it ain't gameplay. So you know
what's crazy is like that happens, and then a game like Diablo 3 comes out, and everyone's like, "Oh, Diablo!" And then they played it, and they're like, "Oh, wait, it's broken."
Yeah.
Now I feel like Jake's talking from a personal experience here.
Yeah, well, that people complain about graphics, like, oh, this graphically sucks.
Then they poop themselves over Diablo when it comes out, and it looks like Diablo.
Yeah.
Hey! It looked more like Diablo 2. Okay, we'll give it that.
So the next question.
Without sprites.
The next question comes from
just stretched it out.
Recon Up. He asks, do you think eventually the possibility of Connie replacing the Merlin with a turret or a module could become a thing? Maybe cargo. Maybe cargo, but I don't think it would be an extra weapon.
I'm pretty sure that I don't think it's a module. I think it's actually built into the hull of the ship.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I think the Constellation was designed from the ground up to have a snub fighter dock in there.
No, they have
a docking collar. It's not a.
They have said that you can swap out. They were thinking about possibly letting you swap out the docking collars for other ships, like maybe being able to put like an M50 in there rather than having the.
That'd look hilarious.
Yeah, I mean it's about the same size, or it's only thicker. It's like a thick P-52.
I'd be okay if we has hemorrhoids or something.
It's got a red shit that's coming out its back. It's.
What about 2 dragonflies?
That'd be kind of cool. That's a good example. The dragonfly you can actually put 2 dragonflies in the cargo bay and still have a snub fighter, Like you could probably theoretically hold like 4 dragonflies and a P-52 on a constellation.
I mean,
I
mean,
Phoenix.
yeah.
Sure. Oh wait, no, the Phoenix is the luxury model, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of Killa.
It'd be cool if you could put a probe on it or something for the explorations type stuff.
I mean,
like launch a probe.
you can already have the Ursa in there as well.
Yeah.
Because it's designed for that.
Yeah.
In fact, two of the 4 constellations come with either the Ursa or the Lynx.
Yeah, which is just an Ursa.
We haven't seen. Yeah,
It's just a sexy. It's just a sexy Ursa.
I mean, that's like what's the difference between a Merlin and an Archimedes?
Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sex appeal.
Yeah.
Because the Archimedes is just a sexy Merlin, you know.
Yep.
Anyways, the next question comes from Johnny2948. On the ATV, I saw the arc welder / multi-tool, which is called the Paw. Hashtag repair bears live.
Yep.
On the Explorer on the Ice Moon, does this mean the repair is in, even if it's a basic first generation or small component repairs?
Possible.
Possible. I mean, I'm sure that they're testing out early versions. They're probably testing out early versions of mining too, because they've even said that they were asking, they were pushing for questions for, I think it was Tony and Chris about mining, because they're going to do some sort of segment here in the near future about doing that, because they talked about that on Spectrum. They were asking those questions. They specifically mentioned mining. So since the PAW is also the miner, it's the miner and the repair tool. It's got to be kind of cool, I guess. Maybe. Marconi 3333 asks, since farming will be in 3.3. That's a lot of threes.
So many threes.
Will the Endeavor be ready? Do you think they're holding release for this on purpose?
I don't think the Endeavor is going to be ready before 4.0.
No, and
it's not this year.
And the reason why they're doing farming is it's going to be on planets.
You know how absolutely massive the Endeavor is?
It's bigger than a Bengal.
Although they are working on it right now.
No, it's as big as a Bengal.
Yeah, okay. So
they're always working on it.
Well, here's the glorious thing that I've realized by watching some of their like the previous ATVs where they're talking about like the ship's design stuff, is that each studio is responsible for at least 2 ships at a time. So there are 4 studios, which means there are you guys laughed at my math before, but 8 total ships being developed at any given time for in the near future. So that 8.
2 times 4 is 8.
Yay! Fuck you. I always get laughed at for my math problems. I'll be like, 9, and they'll be like, it's 7, Paul. I'm like, fuck you, it's 9 now.
You're learning faster.
He doesn't do the math.
Dice.
I also need this thing called sleep, which is
he can
a
only
distant memory
do math in terms of years.
I can do math in terms of years.
that's the only math he's allowed to know.
So but 8 ships at any given time being developed by a studio, and that's the reason why we're seeing 2 or 3 ships drop every patch, is because they're really cranking it out. I mean, hell, they released the Caterpillar and the 85X, both of which weren't supposed to come out until 3.0 and 3.2 respectively. Like the 85X wasn't supposed to even come out for a year, just about, and it's already out. So
what
we may seem a lot of.
I thought the 85X was supposed to be in 3.0.
No, it's supposed to be 3.2.
Was it supposed to come out with the jump?
No, it comes up before the jump.
When's the jump?
3.4.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.3 or 3.4.
Well then.
Yeah. So, but I mean, so they're going to be releasing a lot of things faster. So even though we're probably not going to see the Endeavor until much later, I'd be expecting a lot of these ships to come out a lot faster than people are anticipating. Like even CIG's anticipating, because they have been coming out faster than even CIG's been anticipating. It's the only thing that's been faster than CIG estimates has been the ships. So,
because they nailed down that pipeline.
Yeah, but I think we're just going to see plots on planets where you'll be able to like go into a farming bay. Like they even said on the ATV that
they mentioned hydroponics.
Hydroponics. So you'll be able to go into certain buildings on the ground, or buy certain buildings or whatever, and be able to farm with a hydroponics bag.
I just have a question: is there any estimate when, theorize beyond Stanton?
Beyond Stanton?
4.0.
4.0.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Jump points.
So essentially, the 3.0 series is basically building the entire game structure in terms of like by 4.0, all of the major features of the game will be in the game. So by 4.0, the only thing hopefully by 4.0, the concept is that you have jump points, so that the 4.0 series will be other systems.
Yep.
So it'll be
the journey of 3.0 to 4.0 is game mechanics.
Yep. And the journey between 4.0 and 4.0 and beta is just content systems. You know,
I can't wait to go to Terra.
What?
Terra Tower. That's gonna be awesome.
What do you think is going to be beta?
I think 4.0 is going to change into beta, and they're not going to call it beta. They'll probably call it like beta 1.0, but it'll be once
late alpha.
It'll be because the problem is that 4.0 is kind of bridging that gap between alpha and beta, and since they're really loosely defined anyways, it'll have all the content that you need in the game. It just won't be all the content that they wanted at release.
It'll be the base content to make the game playable at a base level, and then they'll expand from that. But I know what you're saying. People get really panicky and go, "Well, it's not a beta if they're still adding fucking features." It's
and you think release will be 5?
And expand from things.
Essentially, yeah. But it won't. But they will change. They'll change the numbering from because right now it's called Star Citizen Alpha 2.6.1. That's what we're at. I think by the time we get 3.0 or 4.0, it'll be Star Citizen Beta 1.0.
Beta 1.0. Mm-hmm. And then release will just be Star Citizen.
Base mechanics, yeah.
Yep. All right. Next question comes from Bellic. Spider Crotch. Whatever does whatever a Spider Crotch does. P.S. Spider Crotch swings both ways. Kappa. That's not a question, Bellic.
That's good.
It wasn't a question though, but it's true.
It's true. Good job. You did it, Bellic.
Spider Crotch is hooking up with Spider Pig right now.
Yes.
Whoa.
Shake and Bake asks, post Squadron 42 release, do you think CIG's Foundry 42 UK instantly begin work on Chapter 2 and are resources redirected to bringing us, or are resources bringing us to the PU? So there's two things. Does someone else want to take this on? Because I know this by heart. I don't want to capitalize it.
Wait, what? I missed it. I wasn't paying attention.
He's basically like, are they going to move straight on from Squadron 42 to Squadron 42 Chapter 2, or do you think they'll redirect some of those resources to finishing up Squadron to Star Citizen rather than focusing on the next chapter?
They're separate. They're separate teams. They'll continue on with what they're doing.
I think the big thing is that there are teams that are working on Squadron 42 now that are building base implementation that they don't need for Chapter 2. They're not going to introduce a brand new mechanic in Chapter 2 that's different from what was in Chapter 1. It's just the same story. You'll have their systems.
Are you sure?
Maybe. We don't know.
But I mean, like, more than likely, I mean, let's look at this. Look at the difference between, say, Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3. Is there any major differences between those two games?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. Colors.
Major. Game-defining difference.
Okay.
Yeah. Actions actually mean something.
You can combine biotic powers.
But that's a minor thing that doesn't require a huge overhaul of the biotic powers like features.
No, yeah, the turnaround between 2 and 3 was pretty quick, actually.
Yeah. So more than likely it's going to be the same concept. We may have some new ships, we may have some new cool gadgets, but all those cool gadgets are going to be in Star Citizen anyways. They're just added because they're being made in Star Citizen. All of the base functionality for making a single-player game called Squadron 42 will still be there. And so all they have to do is take that same base engine, which they've done all this work on, and build from there. Add animation, you reuse a lot of the animations they're already using in Chapter 1, all that kind of stuff. So it's not...
Calling it now, it's actually going to be a three-quarter view, pulled out third-person RPG.
Yes.
Yeah!
So some of that work will actually go... Some of those basic work guys will go to work on Star Citizen, but most of them will go back to Squadron 42, just so they can continue to push
Squadron
on.
42 Tactics.
Oh, God. That would actually be kind of an interesting game.
I would play that game.
I know, I was just thinking of, I was making a joke, but I'm like...
I would play that game.
Yeah, I would play that.
Duck Force 1 asks, which ship is your absolute favorite in all those ships that can farm fuel?
You can farm fuel?
I think he's trying to fish for us to say that the Starfarer is the best ship.
Except it's not. The Endeavor.
Does the Endeavor farm fuel as well?
It has farming, and you could probably process that into fuel with the science station. I'm
probably.
assuming so.
The
Literally
biodiesel.
farming fuel.
Space runs on biodiesel.
There's only one correct answer to what is the best ship.
What is spaceship?
It is the Asperia Prowler, because that is a bird ship.
Oh,
It is
God.
beautiful, and it don't need no man. And all of you are wrong.
Need no man.
It don't need no man.
So that's a good question. Bristol Boy, what is your favorite ship?
My favorite ship's actually the Reclaimer.
The Reclaimer is a very close second for me.
Kuro?
It's a beautiful.
The Dragonfly.
promo.
High five. Space high five. You know, yeah, there, that way. This way, yeah.
5.
And then, Tachi, what is your favorite?
What's mine?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
The Polaris.
Nice.
Polaris.
Yeah.
The nuke, the boomer
I got the
submarine
shirt.
of the Star Citizen universe. Yes.
the sitting
The
duck.
Dorito.
The Dorito, the pizza
I
slice.
really
I'm
want to
Dorito.
paint mine orange and name it the
the
Dorito.
Dorito.
That thing is gonna die so fast when the pilot gets shot in the head, though. They're just sitting right
yeah.
up front. They're such a big.
Wow,
target.
Duck Force, you asked a lot of questions. Next question he asks is, would you consider a Starfarer the most versatile ship in the game? And if not, why not? Because it is. And then, what color would you paint your Starfarer in? And then, what room is your favorite room in the Starfarer?
Should we just skip over these?
Yeah, let's get it over, please.
I think we're allowed to make fun of him for stupid questions, so all
Jake?
Starfarers now get a bullseye paint job.
I want to paint my Starfarer orange because
looks like
it
it's
looked
from
like
Target.
a Dorito.
Bullseye on it.
My favorite room in the Starfarer is the hangar.
We're seriously entertaining this.
What was the other question?
Would you consider the Starfarer the most versatile ship in the game? If not, why not? Because it is.
Maybe.
I can do mine real quickly. I
Go for
know I would paint it black because black is space camouflage, so nobody can see it because it's a gas truck and it's going to blow up. My favorite room in the Starfarer is the escape pod, so I can get the fuck out of it. And what was the most versatile ship? I was like, it's the best goddamn gas truck out there because it's a gas truck.
I will add to this. It would be red because all exploding barrels need to be red in video games, and since it's a giant flying exploding barrel, you know it's got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite room in the Starfarer is actually the cargo bay because you can convert it into a giant club scene with dancing rave lights and that kind of stuff. When I'm parked on the planet, not doing the Starfarer's job because I've ripped all the parts out of it. And I'm just using that module as
It's true. It's got a DJ booth up top too, above the thing right now.
See, and the best part is that I don't have to fly it and see it explode all the time when I do that. And why is
but that's the thing. The Caterpillar has 4 of those.
Yeah. What?
Oh,
Would you consider the Starfarer the most versatile ship in the game? And if not, why not? Because it is. My answer to that is baloney.
Maybe.
Baloney.
See, I would have a bright green one. My favorite room is the canteen. I love the skylights. You know, if you've got those split rectangle lights
pretty
over the
cool.
table. Yeah. That's going to be really cool in the future. And no, it's not versatile. It's absolutely slow, sluggish, and shit. But it makes one hell of an explosion.
It blows up very
good.
nicely.
It's a good build. Now Doge asks to Kurosagi.
Kurosagi.
Wolf. I'm hungry. When do I get home? When do you get home and feed me?
Next.
Someone call PETA, please. Someone call
He gets
PETA.
home at 8:30 Pacific time. Don't worry, you're a good boy.
And I guarantee
Daddy
Dinner's
will
in
be
the
home
microwave.
soon.
I guarantee that was Drummer Dan.
Of course, it's Drummer
Probably.
Dan.
Probably Drummer Dan.
Yep.
So Duck Force asks again, which gaming chair for becoming the better pilot in the verse?
I don't know.
Whichever one you're comfortable
One
with.
that holds your butt the best.
I
Yeah.
bought this one, so this one.
I bought this one to this one. Like these are all.
Yeah, relative
know,
question.
I think it's outvoted with DX racers.
Yeah.
The conformity to the mass culture of DX Racer is
Conformist.
strong.
I didn't believe
like
it until I
giant
set my
queen.
butt in it. It's awesome.
Do you know why I bought this one?
Because it's got an adjustable backside. Was it like so you can like
No.
look-
Well, yes, but it because it looks like the Constellation Captain's chair.
Oh, I didn't think about that. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Duck Forest 1 asks one more thing. What is the next ship your hope gets released? Not the Carrack.
The Reclaimer.
The Buccaneer.
Cutlass
Carrack.
rework.
Carrack. Cutlass rework.
Wrecked.
I'm not answering.
Mad
anything.
lads.
Carrick. Sorry.
How about you, Itachi?
That's a hard one.
Bristol, you have one?
I probably would go, even though I don't own one, Carrack, because I'd just like to see it, because I think it's a cool
I
badass.
love the one he said. Not this.
Carrack.
We're just screw you. That's
Fuck
all
you, it's the
we
captain's
say
table.
to Carrack.
How about you, Bristol Boy? What are you looking forward to?
Reclaimer,
Reclaimer.
hands down. Yeah. I just can't
Banu's
wait
up
to
next,
see
right? It's the
Little
Banu.
Rat.
It's coming out like in 2 weeks. I heard.
Yeah, totally. Banu confirmed.
Banu, no problem. You heard it here first.
Javelin.
90
Javelin.
days tops.
Your mums asks, when are you going to stop playing the computer and come do the dishes? Mom, I moved.
I already did the dishes.
I moved out fucking 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You knew this when I moved out.
I keep
Stop
telling
bothering
you,
me.
the clean ones are in the dishwasher. Just get them out.
Who asked that question?
Your mums.
If she could ask me a question right now, why in the hell wouldn't she ask me something important? Jesus. You're asking me about the dishes? My mom's been gone for a while, so screw your question. I get to turn that on you.
Codesmith asks, do you think the orbit of planets and moons is going to play into trip planning to the point that there may be better wait an hour until the planet is aligned with a wormhole rather than travel the distance, etc.? I hope so.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean-
I hope
Yeah.
that you can orbit your ship above a planet and say, "This is going to give me 3 hours, theoretically 3 hours grace time on the planet before my ship is rotated and we're lined up for there, because that's where we're fucking aiming for." You know what I mean? That's our next
I
destination.
mean,
Fuel.
I've-
Min-max
exactly.
that crap.
I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen Hellion do it very well, and I'd love
Yeah.
to see something like that in Hellion because they
I was
do it
gonna
well.
say, I could deal with Hellion. I'm not going to sit around and wait 2 or 3 hours for my ship to get properly aligned to fucking fly somewhere. If it increased fuel cost or there's payout or something like
Yeah.
that, I'm totally down with those mechanics. It might cost me more fuel to go, but nobody legitimately is going to sit there and want to wait for hours and hours to get the
Yeah.
perfect
It,
window.
it should be
But-
an option.
But it's an option.
theoretically,
Yeah,
like,
no, it should be
If you
different.
I
want
mean,
to wait,
you
if you
probably
want to
can
wait
have-
6 hours to save fucking $10 in fuel, go for
No,
it.
but you may have like missions to do on a planet, you know.
Yeah, or you'll
You're
have
going to go down and get some cargo or go up and down,
Which is
between-
fine as
Or-
an option. I just don't want it to be the only way
you
you
know
can play the game.
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Kuro could be on a planet finishing up a mission, and Kuro's got to go like use the bathroom or do something else, and I'm like, well, it's all right because the window for like.
Dinner lap, dinner
That's a
lap.
callback to the beginning of the
Come on,
callback.
To the beginning.
But
Those burritos are going through dinner lap. I'm gonna need a little bit.
Ohio.
but like it's just like it's all cool because we're gonna be on a good alignment in about like 20 minutes or anything anyway. So like just go do what you need to do. I'll go do this, and we'll come back in 20 minutes and get our alignment up for the wormhole or whatever. So yeah, it would be a nice little option, but it shouldn't be something that you have to fucking do because that shit.
Yeah. I mean, you can quantum past the planet anyway, so
Yeah, and
the
that-
options there, but
That was
you just
also
waste fuel doing an extra jump, you know.
that was my but that's what I was saying. Like with Hellion, is that Hellion does it really well, but it's
Yeah, where you
but
can
it's
adjust the times.
but it's super hardcore. Like I don't that would turn off a lot of people who are playing Star Citizen. So yeah,
Very
that would be a
Kerbal-
cool feature in that too. Like, say you you're doing a tactical mission on a planet, and you want to arrive on the nighttime part of the planet. Like this, you want to land in a certain city, you want to arrive there at night.
Yeah.
So you got to time it out right and all that stuff. I'd be totally down with that as long
That'd
as
be
I have to
awesome.
sit there and physically rate real life hours to do it. That seems
Yeah.
a little ridiculous. Yeah.
So the next question comes from Mudfucker, who asks,
Ah.
"How do we feel about the 20 to 40 minutes to quantum from one side of the system to another?"
awesome.
I think
Yes.
that's great.
You're never going to quantum from one side of the system to another, and if you are, you're doing it because
you're never going to do that. But two, that tells me how large
Yeah.
the player
system is.
You're also going to stop and get gas on the way. You're never going to be able to go from one to another.
Well,
Like,
It depends on the ship.
or get interdicted by AI. I mean, there's
true.
so many different things that could happen along that path, so it's not going to be.
Isn't
And
it
I don't know. I
Warden?
miss the days in Eve where I could like fly around and go make a sandwich sometimes.
What exactly?
you know,
What ship are you flying in? Because if you're flying in a big ship, you may have a pool table, you may have some slot machines or something, or an arcade machine to play at,
Or
you
if
may have
we-
a gym, or you may.
Or if we
there may be
actually
stuff.
If we actually have the
Ew.
component system like they want to do, you'll be in your back with the engine because you're not using your normal engine, you're using your quantum engine. Either tweaking it or be like, all right, this part is like at 30%. I need to toss this part and to go back to the cargo bay, pull in this new part. We're gonna go check the.
I'd love
the
to
health
see
of all
like an
that kind of
old
stuff.
coal engine, and you have to fucking have someone shoveling coal into
The,
Be like
the
the
dust, the like black colored, like dust covered like guys in a flat cap, like an Irish dude being like,
futuristic
you know.
Star Citizen steampunk.
yeah.
That's it, guys. Start making the art now. Star Citizen steampunk.
I could use these then.
There you go.
I'd play that game.
I would too.
Starpunk.
I would, because I could see the potential of some poor sap being charged just to shovel coal into the engine while everyone else is trying to do it, and they're shouting at him, "We need more power!" And he's just like, "I'm working on it! I'm fucking working on it!"
It's funny because positions like that are already going to exist in the game.
You're not shoveling fast enough. He's like,
I need power. Fuck you. I'm trying to work on it. Like in Pulsar, when we play our Pulsar games, like
I'm telling
Grokis
you,
is always yelling at Guahir to get more pips because we always need more power. And Guahir is sitting right there like, I'm managing the power and pips, doing this, more management for pips, like running around like a chicken with your head cut off because you're trying to do everything for
telling you.
everybody.
If the day comes when Chris Roberts gets the rights back to Wing Commander, if that day ever comes, the best thing he could ever do would to be make Wing Commander an arcade cabinet inside Star Citizen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'd even like to see his old games like they did on Happy Hour, like that Kong game, and just fucking put them in. You know, what I mean?
Strike Commander, those kind of
Why not?
things. Yeah.
Why
do you-
not? Just put them in for the why nots.
Do you know what they should do is they should have a kind of like the next great Starship, but have it be a game jam, and then put like the tiny little mini games that
Like
that
the Aurora
make.
Test Crash or whatever. The Aurora
Yeah,
Crash thing.
and
like
then-
stuff like that. That'd be great
and then
fun.
put that in Star Citizen. I mean, also put Hyper Vanguard Force.
I think they totally
Oh,
like
God, that was just
backburned
the- I couldn't
all
remember
those
the name.
contest
Thank you.
shows now.
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever going to do in their next great Starship or whatever else they plan. Didn't they plan to do one for like the suits
next
and
great
everything?
Star
And the
Marine,
next
yeah.
great
Yeah.
Star
Yeah.
Marine. And they didn't do any of that stuff. I think it's because the one group that won, they're now redoing the complete ship, right?
Yeah. Well, it's part of some of them are. Yeah.
Which, we actually just saw an update on not too long ago, which is kind of crazy. The Redeemer is now functioning somewhat in engine.
Yeah.
Also, you can totally put in Ursa on the back of the
That's what I was hoping they'd
Redeemer,
do.
which is freaking.
Because
awesome.
I had heard that animation was not canon, that it was someone else saying you could do it, but maybe it is now.
I don't know.
I thought it was a fan made thing.
It was someone showing
On that tail lift?
possible,
Yeah.
and they went,
Really?
That's not bad.
No,
Yeah.
that was an official thing.
I heard it was a fan made one, but
No, I think it was an official concept.
and Lucas said that the system's not really really that long because it's only like 4 AU across. The answer is that distances can be changed. Just because it says right now it's what it is, it doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what it is in game. And B, the quantum drive is 1/8, I think, the speed of light.
0.2.
It's 0.2. Oh, so it's 0.2. It's 20% the speed
It's
of light.
1/5.
1/5 the speed of light.
20%.
So 20% the speed of light, which is the maximum speed. That's going up all the way to rev up to its maximum speed is 0.2. So even that, it means that when you're going across an astronomical unit, it's going to take a while for you to go across an astronomical unit with a quantum drive. They're not friendship drives, or anything like that. You know, from Elite, they're much slower. So the ships themselves are very much slower.
Now, take
Even
this
the
with a
ships
grain
of
of salt.
Elite
I'm putting
outside
it
of
in
friendship
chat.
are fast.
I'm putting it in chat. Whoever was looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was made in Photoshop, apparently, but it was made by a dev.
Oh, it was made by a dev. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it should be able to support an Ursa because an Ursa is about that same size. So.
Yep.
Well, and that's why I was really hoping the path to go with the Redeemer, because since they got the hoplites and airdrop ships starting to be in, I was hoping with the Redeemer it would become like a helicopter, like a gunship, you know, like you'd see a Chinook where it could drop in like something in there and also give support fire that's different. I don't want the Redeemer to be like another ship up there like a fighter trying to fight Hornets and shit.
No.
I want it to be air to ground, you know.
It should have the same role as a Prowler, but the Prowler is
a stealth version.
The heavy version like that.
And the Redeemer is loud and proud.
There you go.
It's shock and awe, baby.
It's Murica. It's just this giant.
Yeah.
It's freedom.
It's a giant freedom boner all over the space lanes.
Giant freedom
boner. Yeah.
That is the new advertising tagline for the ship. Giant freedom
boner.
Yeah.
Next question
today
comes from blank. There's no name, but it asks, "What happened to the Tavarans?" We don't know.
What? What do you mean?
Teeth in, and now they're absorbed into the UEE.
There's two things. One, they're in the UEE. Two, those that managed to leave or escape, we don't know what happened to them. There's actually some lore pieces that say that we probably are going to see a Tavaran incursion, a third Tavaran war possibly in the universe at some point. They're hinting at it. So, because they found old Tavaran bases that are with fresh weapons that aren't that old. Like
they remind me a lot of the Turians, but if the Turians lost the First Contact War.
Yeah.
They've gone the way of the Banu into myth.
Now, Chris Bobberts asks, when do you think the character creator will be in game?
3.0.
Yeah, I would say 3.0. At the latest my guess would be 3.1. Earliest would be 3.0. Just because why
There's
get it
no
before
reason why they're showing that tech without it coming soon.
And usually what I say is when you look at that tech, you usually add 6 months to a year from that. And guess what? That's probably when
3.0 is coming out.
It's 6 months to a year from now.
Character creator, though? The one where you get to change all your outfits and stuff, or the part where you pick your face? Because the outfit one could come a hell of a lot sooner than the face picking.
But the face picking one is just it was actually mentioned in Reddit that the face picking one is actually not even a asset they built. It's a asset they purchased from another company that's a three lateral, which does a lot of different assets for other video games as well. They're the ones the three lateral is the same one that use the technology for the 3D mapping of the characters,
face scan stuff.
The face scan stuff. Yep. And so, while it's not a CIG product, it's probably something they're going to use for their character creator, and why not? You know, if it works, you know,
it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they've already got people working on it over there that are doing a good job, and it's Lumberyard, isn't it? So
Lumberyard's helping them out with that. Yeah,
goes right in.
So also, for those of you who don't realize, Lumberyard has been pimping the fuck out of Star Citizen. Like they've been tweeting the shit out of it. So. Like, people were like, well, I don't know what the relationship between Amazon, it's just probably, it's like, no.
Nope.
Amazon done invested. Like, they done invested.
Since they're doing Lumberyard, honestly, I will say this now, expect next TwitchCon to possibly see Star Citizen.
Star Citizen will be at next TwitchCon.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee you they'll be there. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With Amazon there, they might end up with a big stage thing. Like that.
Why do you think Lando and Zyla were there? That's the only reason. Also to hang out with people, but that's also why they're coming to PAX East, is they've got secret work things, but also to hang out with people.
Next question comes from
Secret
from Chris Bobberts. Again, your character is going to be a male or female, and why? It's going to be.
I was actually going to ask you guys that, and I forgot. When
you make your first character,
spoke about the characters, I was going to say you're going to make it as realistic to yourselves as you can, or are you going to make it kind of a more lore-y thing that's a character, or what are you guys going to do?
I think I'll probably play as me at first.
Yeah.
But if I die, then I'll kind of get creative with it.
Yeah,
I think that's the same for me. I'm going to try and make it as realistic to me as I can.
Yep. I talked about it yesterday on Late Night Vacuum, this exact question. And my answer was my first characters always in these sorts of situations, I make me. Because if it's not a step out play movie style game where I'm looking through the eyes of a character to experience the world, if I'm a part of that world, I essentially put me into the game and experience it as me within the game and sort of role play myself. And then from there, when I create branch characters, however it happens, death or whatever, then it could be anything, male, female character, it just whatever pops into my head.
But
I want to be
it's safe to assume that all of you guys on your first playthrough of Squadron 42, at least if we can create a character, are going to create it as yourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, my goal is to make myself in Squadron 42 as well as Star Citizen, so it's the same character, because that's the idea. Is
Yes.
the same character.
Yeah.
I will say that Kuro's got the easiest job because he has no hair, so he doesn't have to. He can make he can role play as himself already.
He's almost,
No.
almost there.
No, here's the thing. I think that having a man and a woman is a bit too limiting for me. I think we need third genders in the game so that I can
only
be...
third genders. I can't be my Chinook helicopter or Apache helicopter.
I identify as an Apache attack
helicopter. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes, I identify as a fruit roll-up. I want to be a fruit roll-up in game.
How would you use controls?
Through thought.
Yeah, don't question my identity. I was born one.
A psychic fruit roll-up.
Next question comes from Tom Cruise's shorter stunt double.
That's me. That's my old username.
Thoughts on how tractor beams will work? Very carefully.
You push button, beam attaches to object, and you pull object.
They're going to work as more of a holding
You
device.
should write instruction manuals.
Yeah.
I'm actually wondering if tractor beams in Star Citizen put things in stasis in order to remove the force it would require to move said object, so as not to rip apart your ship.
Maybe. My thought was that you would it would be something like your ship. You knock out another ship, and you're ready to board it, but you need to be able to stabilize it because otherwise it'd be spinning out of control. So you attack it with a tractor beam, and it'll slow it to a stop, and then you can so other people can get closer, or your ship can get closer, and then board it that way. So that way it prevents the spinning thing. So you don't have the ships trying to dock with each other while they're spinning out of control.
Essentially, you match velocity and just slow it down. Yeah. So you both come to a gradual stop.
Yeah. And, you'll be able to, move some things from one place to another, like cargo with its tractor beam, but it's just basically, hold it, move it, drop it, move it, drop it. It'll just be like an invisible
Bop
train.
it.
Bop it. Pull it.
Twist it.
Flick it.
Chris, bop it, yeah. Next question comes from Codesmith. Have there ever mentioned the purpose of the pincers on the Redeemer are? The claws?
Redeemer?
The engine claws?
Those
are
Do you
engines.
mean the
That's the
reclaimer?
The hair straighteners.
No, I think they meant the air clamps, which are the
staplers.
engines. Yeah,
Because they look cool?
Awesomeness.
Yeah, that's literally what they're there for. They're there to look cool.
Cool.
Yeah. And when the guys made it, because it was a ship, a lot of people don't know that it was actually made by fans for a contest, and when
now they work at CIG.
Well, it really wasn't a contest. It was really a giant hiring fair for CIG because almost all of the guys who made the finalists work for CIG now. So
yeah,
and none of the ships that were made will ever be in the game entirely.
rip all of those beautiful creations.
I think to a degree we're seeing the Brutus in the Buccaneer. The Buccaneer has taken massive hints from Brutus.
The Brutus is a much more attractive ship.
It is, but it's very.
Yes.
It's like a fighter version of the Brutus. This is what we're seeing with the Buccaneer, but it's the same lines.
Probably some legal thing they'd have to actually give him a prize or pay him out or do something if they.
And since they actually
No,
work
they
for the
signed
company,
off.
yeah, they signed off.
They signed off on
Oh,
everything
well,
submitted.
I don't know then.
Let's see. The next question is from George P. What is each of your plans for Operation Pitchfork? So are all of you planning on participating?
Yep.
Yes.
I'll be flying a Vanguard.
Gracchus?
P-52 Mustang, it's going to be the Grocky's bomb. So it's me strapped with dynamite with a Einstein-Rosenberg bridge bomb, a neutron bomb, nuclear fission and fusion bombs.
Oh, you're gonna
dark
end
matter
the
bomb.
universe.
Yeah, essentially, I'm gonna fly inside
A
a
kingship?
kingship with that and just detonate myself as the.
Oh,
Here.
you're Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going Randy Quaid on this thing.
Up yours! Fun fact, did you know the original script called for him to fly his crop duster into that thing?
Oh
Yes.
my god!
Yes.
That would have been
There's
awesome.
actually a version you can see with the crop duster.
No,
Oh,
they actually originally made it with a crop duster, and then
That would've been
they
so
loved
good.
it, and they pulled it with audiences, and audiences were like, this made no fucking sense, and so they added in the fact that he was a
doesn't matter.
former
It's amazing.
that they
Oh,
that they
Crop duster
I'm
versus
so
alien fighting
disappointed
jets.
in humanity.
I hate it when they take polling audiences and people are like, well, it's a space movie with all this crazy laser shit and all this stuff, but that part didn't make sense.
yeah.
The shotgunster part. I'm like, now
Yeah.
you're getting critical. You just sat through this whole
Yeah.
fucking thing.
Yeah, Woodstock data being controlled psychically by aliens, just that's fine.
Woodstock data.
Woodstock data.
So the one thing I'm planning on doing
Long
is I'm planning
story.
on leading the test squadron element, which is I'm calling it Operation Knifey Spoony, and which is entirely Aurora drop ships with troops, Aurora fighters, Aurora bombers, which are just Auroras strapped with wet like antimatter containers that smash into the sides of ships. And
Have you seen Ender's Game?
yes,
/Red Ender's Game?
yeah,
You know what
Oh, yes.
you know how at the end how he won by having all the fighters like swarm
Yeah.
around the big weapon? That's what you should do.
yes, swarm
That's
around like
a javelin or something.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Operation Knifey Spoony. Fight the. It may not be a sword, but we'll fuck your shit up anyways.
May not be a pitchfork.
No.
And it's going to be 2 cross sporks instead of.
It's fine. I used my good joke on Woodstock data.
That was pretty good.
Don't worry, I burned mine out at the start of the episode.
Yeah, you did.
Jesus, Bristol boy, what are you doing? Pitchfork?
Yeah, probably will. Probably
You-
give it a crack.
do you
I
have
don't
an
know what I'm going to do yet, but I don't know what ships are going to be available at the time of. Do you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like go in my freelancer mess. If the javelin's available, I'll fucking take that for shits and giggles. Like, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens.
How about you, Kuro?
But definitely will do.
I'm also in the boat of like I don't think I'd probably even do it, but I don't even know what I think.
How about you? How about you, Mitt?
I'm sure Overwatch will come in there and do something fun. We might have some misfires though on some other people too. It just kind of depends how that goes. It's like, oh, I thought you were Vandal.
Peanut butter.
So we'll see.
The next question comes from Alpha. Comes from Elwalk. He asks, any word on Spectrum progress in game chat soon? Here's what I heard at the Bar Citizen.
Oh.
Yeah. So the
Uh-oh.
Turbulent guys were there, and they said that they're continuing to work on everything. It's they're waiting on game implementation, which is going to take them some time, and that's it. But they're going, and they're also planning on doing a lot of iteration on Spectrum. Like Spectrum's going to be updated really quickly compared to the game, like much faster compared to the game overall, because they can just plug it in and boom, 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 and update it and change it on the fly. So they're looking for a lot of feedback.
Mobile.
Yeah, they're working on it.
Mobile matters.
You know, hashtag mobile first. Yeah.
Hashtag mobile first.
So it's working, but they're waiting on adding that system in until they can get the cross data implementation with the game, which won't be until later. They didn't. He was very careful to not tell me when, but he said later. So, but it's important. So it's the reason why I said that is it's important to go to the Spectrum and actually give them the feedback as much as possible so they know what's going on.
Twilight Moon says that if he was at CIG, he'd push for a huge fleet of Vandal waiting for the OPF guys.
Oh, I bet they will.
That they're going to have
Iron Hay Bale.
There is one at Orion. The whole point of Pitchfork is to retake Orion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge fleet there.
Yeah, there's a massive fleet there.
It's called Operation Iron Hay Bale. They found out about Pitchfork. In whispers of lore, the devs have actually said they have a counter to it now.
Yeah.
This is becoming a lore thing.
No, they wanted to be a lore thing because they also wanted to break it.
Which is so freaking cool.
Which is why you all need to participate in Pitchfork, because it's going to be literally...
We're going to be a part of history!
The community versus the devs in a game, and
if you do something completely like ballistically off the wall, your name might actually end up in lore history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Grocky's the hero of the hour who blows up the kingship with his.
That's why he's doing it.
He's gonna get a UEE ship named after him. It's gonna be the UEE Grockies. Is gonna be flying around.
UEE Hugs.
The UEE Hugs.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds so friendly. Oh God, it shot me.
I saw some new people in the chat. Just for my own sanity. For those of you who don't know what Operation Pitchfork is, it's an organization that is
it's an event. The organization exists to help the event, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically civilians who are fed up with the UEE twiddling their thumbs about the Vandal, and everyone's going to strike back at the end of the Star Citizen beta.
Yeah.
In force to retake Orion.
The last even
from
the general estimate that they had of the organizers who were doing it in terms of who were participating, it's somewhere between 25 to 50% of the active community in Star Citizen right now. Yeah. Which is hundreds of thousands probably of people, honestly.
I think you can honestly just ask to join Pitchfork.
Yeah, it's completely free. If you say you want to join it, you can do it. There's no organization saying
break the box asked in chat. Yeah, if you can just search for them on Spectrum.
Mm-hmm. They're one of the bigger organizations.
Which means if we load in 25 pilots at a time, guys, we'll be done within 2 to 3 weeks of everyone getting a chance to go to Vandal.
That's a good joke. Topical. I like it.
Topical joke.
That's his one for the episode.
There you go.
I never have one for the episode. I just run the thing.
You don't even do that.
Though I did get the one with the beard joke. The beard joke was pretty good.
Did you close questions, Paul?
No, I didn't. We've still got a couple questions left, and then we'll be done.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I have to pee.
Okay.
I have to queue.
There are 4 more questions left, and those will be the last questions. Well, if they make Star Citizen as they said they will be able to spend 40 minutes on traveling alone in space, will it be okay to start? But at some point, it'll be like Skyrim fast travel. I hope they'll fix that. Do you think it'll be boring? It's not 40 minutes in space. It's 40 minutes from one end of the system to another, which you'll never do. No. The only time you'll do that is if you want to do that.
Why would you want to do that?
And then you're going to be doing other stuff.
9 times out of 10, you would think the jump points and stuff, when they have those in, are going to be more centralized in the system, and you're going to be traveling from there to multiple locations outward.
Yeah.
It'll just be the min-maxers that'll say, hey, I want to fly across the system. They'll go to one end, and then they'll fly across, just say they did it. Everybody else will take just like the 2 to 5 minutes to go to different points in the middle of the system, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, and the maximum I think it would take between systems, even if going from one planet to another planet, if it's like on the other side of a rotation, would be something like 10 to 15 minutes. And everyone says, and I've done 10 to 15 minute jumps in Hellion. It's not that bad. Everyone's like, oh, that sounds boring. It's really not. I mean, it slows the game down significantly, but it's good to slow the game down sometimes between really intense firefights.
Pacing, ladies and gentlemen.
Pacing, yeah.
Try flying around in EVE Online, because usually I have to travel 10, 15 jumps over. That takes a lot more than 5 to 20 minutes. That's
take a flight plan in World of Warcraft from one end of the continent to the other.
Yeah,
that'll
30 minutes. 30 minutes.
Yeah. So and you're never, and the secret is that you're not going to go between systems unless you really need to go. Your system, the system itself is going to be mostly your home. If you're going to leave to go to another system, it's going to be a big deal.
They'll adjust it. I mean, let's not make a mistake about it. If it's game breaking where everybody's like, "This is so fucking terrible," they'll change it. I mean,
we're going to test it.
Yeah,
VersaLife is surprised they don't have a gamer's bucket to pee in.
And then the easy way to fix it is they can speed up quantum. They don't have to change the system size anymore. They can just tweak your quantum speed.
Retcon, that's all right. You know, the idea is that you don't have faster than light jumps kind of stuff. So
they don't even have to retcon it. They can be like, "Hey, we discovered this new part that goes in quantum drives and makes them faster."
Yep, because they've been improving them throughout the lore anyways. So that makes sense. Yeah. All right.
I want to know what time it is for Bristol Boy right now.
#1.
So,
Okay.
sorry about that.
It's still early.
Tyrannus Firemord says, I got a question about Star Citizen. If you don't mind, is it true that each spaceship costs real money? Right now it does, but eventually you'll be able to purchase ships in game.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those,
you can also rent them already for Arena Commander rec credits. So
yeah,
you only need a base package.
Yeah.
You can earn everything in game
for free, and the only difference is that those who get it now are getting the base models. They're not getting any upgrades. And if you played anything like Elite or Eve, base models suck. They're not good at all.
And another thing that I like to tell people to keep in mind is that progression in Star Citizen is not linear.
No, it's
you are not necessarily buying the best gear.
It's branching
by buying a ship.
Is it branching? I think is the best way of putting it. Like, because each ship can be branched off into different.
It's a sandbox.
Yeah.
So well, and think of it like
real life.
Well, yeah, and like think of it like buying like people who unlocked a certain gun in Counter-Strike or Call of Duty. Oh, not Counter-Strike because you can. Bad comparison. Mm-hmm. In Call of Duty, if you have a pistol, you can kill that guy with a fancy gun just fine.
Hey, look, think about it like Arma. In Arma, a pistol and a rifle will both kill you. The weakest pistol in the game will still kill you pretty fucking quickly. If you're good with that pistol. But the bigger rifle will be able to kill you further, but that's only because it's bigger and further.
Yes.
You can still avoid that gunshot.
Tyrannus Firemord, I assume you're the one who asked the question. Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, you can absolutely play this game by only spending $45 or $60 if you want to play the single player campaign.
Yeah, there are two games.
I always recommend the $60 because it's 2 games for the price of 1 current.
Yep.
It's just you got to wait for them to come out.
Hey, Sean Noonan's in chat.
Hey,
What's
Sean.
up, buddy?
Thank you for joining us as always. Oh, penis.
Hold on. Yeah. Can I do that for a sec? Oh, penis.
Now I get that. I get that now. I get that. Oh, penis.
Sean, for those who don't know, is the level designer on the Star Marine.
Also a longtime developer who worked on Far Cry 4 and Watch Dogs and
bunch of stuff.
Far Cry Primal and a bunch of other things like that.
Yeah.
So
I liked those games.
Yeah, they're good. They're not terrible.
Far Cry 4 was my favorite one, I think.
The next question comes from Mike Alpha Tango Tango. With Amazon being invested in Star Citizen through Lumberyard, do you think Amazon will work a deal to get exclusive Star Citizen stuff free on Twitch Prime thing, like skins, Hangar Flare or something? I think it would be a mistake if they didn't.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a huge mistake if they didn't. Because they're already working deals with Ubisoft and those companies for like For Honor and stuff. When Star Citizen gets released, I guarantee you they'll probably work a deal with something because they've invested pretty heavily in Star Citizen in terms of like support for Star Citizen.
Of their contract.
Not to mention easy Twitch streaming through the Amazon Lumberyard stuff, which can be added into game, things like that. Try to bend them to doing Twitch stuff.
And they're like, let me know, put no bones about it. I'm here. You know, I saw GTC. They are really supporting Star Citizen. They put them in a booth with Twitch and Amazon Lumberyard. Like Lumberyard, Amazon.
They put them in the Twitch booth.
They put them in the Twitch booth. It was the Twitch, Star Citizen, and the Lumberyard team were all together in the same booth. Nice. So, Next question comes from Mudfucka. Do you think the door to our hangars will open to NA airlock or space without a force field? Yes, eventually.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing quick fire just because I want to get through this. But the mega map, that's what the mega map is for, is that eventually it'll open up. Lance Hendrickson asks, what leisure activities will there be able to pass the time during long voyages? Cards, arcade games, tabletop simulator? Yes. We already know.
Yeah,
and
they have a
maintenance on your ship, and
there are already 3 in-game games that existed that they pulled for that are card and dice-based games. I like to plug it because one of those is one I created. But they haven't contacted me since then if they wanted to put it in game or not. But they have those 3 that they liked, that they wanted to see if they would work or not. And so they're planning on doing stuff like that. They already have, though. They'll put in things like, I'm sure they'll put in like Hyper Vanguard Force. There'll also be things like you can check the Spectrum, so that's why you have Spectrum on your phone. But you can also check the Spectrum in game. Same concept, same thing. Check the news, local news for your systems, which will all be updated. Kind of like how if you're an elite, you check Galnet all the time because you want to see what's going on in the world.
I want to play darts in
That'd be kinda
zero
cool.
gravity.
Zero gravity darts.
that'd be interesting.
Dangerous.
See, my leisure pastime that I'm going to have at the pub is going to be zero-G knife fighting. You get onto the side of the hull in Quantum and with magnet boots and fight each other with knives.
I thought you were gonna do like a 0G cocktail thing with like time cruiser spinning the bottle.
That would be kind of cool. I'd love to do that too. But zero-G knife fight sounds more like brutal and
Cool?
fun. Yeah, cool.
Can I use a frying pan in the knife fight?
Yes.
Perfect, I'll win everything.
Last question comes from Blank. Do you think when we will be able to purchase ships in game, not the EA store? When do you think? Oh,
3.0.
3.0. They've said that they're shooting for 3.0. Now
Is it
They
3.0? I thought
they showed us
maybe.
they
showed us the interface already.
Ben did say that they want to try to get it out with 3.0. So
I thought it was beta.
no, that was the original. That's what a lot of people had thought it was. They
That's
never
when
said.
they're going to stop selling concept ships, not necessarily start selling ships in game. Because I think the in-game ships are only temporary.
They're also
Just
white.
like your equipment, you
they're
can buy
white.
them and earn enough money in game.
So like at
but every
3.0,
reset to go away.
at 3.0, you can earn money to possibly buy a ship. If you buy a ship in game for 3.0, at 3.1, that ship's gone. All of your money, all of the stuff you earned in game.
But
is gone. They're
okay,
wiped.
but you can no longer. So you'll no longer be able to purchase a ship with real money, though.
You still will be able
No,
to.
you will.
At
In-
beta, beta, you won't be able to buy a ship.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we are different.
But there will be
three-
both at the same time before then.
So the idea, and the same way
Yeah,
I'll have it right
okay.
now, like it's
Yep.
essentially what it'll be is, it'll be if you really like it and you want to support the project, then you can
Yep.
purchase a little bit to buy a freelancer, or but you don't have to. You can always earn it in game. And
Supposedly, when it goes to beta, if I'm not wrong, Paul, it's like that's when we're supposed to be able to keep the stuff that we buy for in-game money. And
That's the hope.
It might carry over into game. They haven't decided yet,
Yeah.
but that was the premise they were working with.
that was the
Beta
original
might
premise.
Still have wipes.
They said
is what they said.
at some point during beta,
They'll turn it off.
wipes will end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll
But
get
it-
your ships back here.
And the persistence to carry over, yeah.
And even if they wipe the ships, I'd like for them to do what Elite did, which was they wiped, but they gave everyone money. So like in-game money. So like if you had played the beta and you earned like a certain amount of money and you had a ship that was worth like 500,000 credits,
equivalent.
it would give
Yeah.
you that amount of the equivalent of cash in to start off with as a kind of a thank you for playing the game and as a less of a biting thing. So you could immediately buy it if you wanted to right off the bat, but it was different from like
I'd like to see that, even if
Yeah.
it wasn't as much as
Yeah.
oh, you've spent 2
At
ships.
least
but
something.
Here,
Yeah.
here's 50,000 UEC as opposed to 2,750 or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
yeah, something to start off with just as a thank you for
Just to entice you to play a bit more and to say,
Yeah.
we're going to wipe it, but you're going to get a little extra if you play now, as opposed to if you wait and play then.
That'll be the last question for the night. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here tonight. If you guys haven't already done so, you should hit.
Cutting out, Paul.
Yep.
Am I cutting out?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't think I'm cutting out on stream. I'm cutting out on Discord though.
Okay.
It's weird. My Discord's weird like that. Anyways, thank you so much for coming out here on to the Captain's Table. We're going to call it a night here. That was the last question of the evening. Make sure to follow all of these people, all of them, Grockies, Kuro, Mitt, and Bristol Boy all stream. And Jake is part of the Relay team that does streams on Saturdays, and you should also go to relay.sc to check out for Star Citizen news and information. Myself and Jake will be at PAX East next year.
Yes.
Next week. Next year.
Next year.
Next year.
Also next year.
Probably next year too.
Hashtag stream goals.
And then I don't know if anybody else. Rocky, you're not going, right? And Mitt,
Please!
you're not going?
Make it.
You're not going, Mitt?
Whoever is at PAX East and you see us, please say hello.
If you say hello to me at the floor, I will have something for you. If you recognize me, I will give you something.
I don't want to know what that is.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
I've had all my shots.
Give him a hug and grope his butt for me.
Also, thank you to whoever in chat is coming to the Bar Citizen on Saturday next week. We reached capacity, which is crazy.
I still have Twitch partner friends who want to go there.
Is anybody going to periscope that, Jake?
We're
Paul Shelley?
Probably.
Oh yeah.
But
this guy right here.
Yeah. It'll be the Bar Citizen, PAX East Bar Citizen, brought to you by Jake Acapella here at the Astropub. So
yeah. But no. If you are still thinking about going, send me a PM on Twitter. And there is like a slight waiting list, but we're basically going to reach out to the people who are RSVP'd in the next week just to like double check that everybody can make it. And if there's open slots, then we're gonna let people come back in. So
awesome. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a good thing to go to. As well as
it's at Jacob Worth, which is an awesome German pub in Boston.
Cool. And it's you've got like the full thing like rented out and everything like that, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice. So the one thing I will say is we may not have the captain's table next week. Keep an eye on my Twitter for more information about that. If we do, it will be really ghetto. It will not be as professional. It'll just be me with my freaking phone walking around yelling at Jake and DJs and like that.
No, here's what we're gonna do, Paul. We're gonna get in line for a video game, and we're just gonna live stream while we're in line and as the line's going.
Yeah. Talking about stuff.
And then we'll like turn the phone at the game while we're playing it, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, that'll be it. That'll be the captain's table. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us here tonight. Follow all of these people one more time. Make sure you're doing that. I don't know why you're not. And then, we'll see you guys next week. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, I apologize that I'm not going to be able to edit this as effectively. In the future, I will be. I forgot to hit the record button, so I'm going to have to pull this directly from Twitch to YouTube. I'm also going to start uploading these videos. Mistake. I'm going to start uploading these videos to Twitch as well. So Twitch will also have the videos on cache. So if you guys want to check those out, as well. And if you guys want to catch it live, we go live every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. GMT. So you can always catch us live here at twitch.tv/theastropub. Thank you guys all for hanging out. And like I say every night, hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, hope to see you someday in the black. Have a good night, guys, and stay safe.